measure. This is excellent news. The Missouri Secretary of State now must assess the petition and see if it qualifies for the ballot. That feels sus. If passed, Missouri would legalize abortion up to the point of fetal viability, which is considered to be around 24 weeks. Now, Erin, you and I have been saying this for a long time. It would behoove Missouri to codify abortion in their state because guess what? Surveys, polls, et cetera, are coming out saying, young people don't want to live or go to college in states where they do not have rights.
Huh.
What do you know about that?
That's weird.
Do you know what one of my favorite statistics was?
What?
100%, this was actually from the Institute for Women's Policy Research, found that 100% of parents contributing financially to college costs prefer their child go to a college in a state where abortion is legal and accessible.
Interesting. So so people aren't going to want to go to college or work or accept jobs in places like Missouri for the same reason that nobody's planning a girls' trip to Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
That seems like it's pretty obvious.
It feels self-explanatory and obvious, but also still good to see.
Yeah, still good to see, for sure. There's a part of me, I have a couple thoughts on this. A, I wonder if there are certain states that truly do not want women and young people living there. They just want to be crotchety old men yelling at waitresses in a diner. The waitresses, by the way, are going to be people trapped by economics and circumstance and cannot leave the state. It's just going to be like the most unpleasant people in America just forming little clusters, and each of them get 2 senators, even though there's like 5 of them. They want to be a bunch of like Eastern Wyomings.
Yes.
Just all over the place, just east, and they don't want anybody dynamic, and they don't want anybody that's going to make any changes, and they don't want to have to support infrastructure that cares for children and families. They just want to be left alone to be the worst people in the world. That's part of what I'm thinking. Like, if they are thinking endgame, they're like, good, get these kids off my lawn. A second thing I'm thinking is if a state like Missouri, which, by the way, just months ago was in the news for barely having any momentum or backing for this measure.
Right.
So there's been a quick pivot. If places like Missouri actually codified abortion rights, that would force state legislators to actually come up with useful shit to do. Now, look, I'm sure that they can brainstorm more dumb crap to waste their time on and not do anything for the people they're supposed to represent. All the anti-trans legislation comes to mind as a great example. Stuff trying to legislate school libraries and teachers and all that stuff. Like that, I'm sure they'll figure out new ways to waste their time, but at least this will force them to use their brains to come up with new ways to not do their jobs rather than harping on the abortion issue over and over again.
Get a new cause.
Honestly, dog that caught the car.
Every time.
100%. Got another abortion story. Alyssa, Senators Murray and Booker have done some work in Washington.
They are reintroducing the Access to Birth Control Act. Erin, this legislation would guarantee timely access to birth control at the pharmacy. Now, what this means is that when you get to the pharmacy, they have to give you what you need. They cannot try to intimidate, harass, or shame anyone trying to get their birth control. Can you believe that we need laws that say this? Yes, we do. Another great part of the bill is that it establishes civil penalties for the pharmacy and a private cause of action for patients to seek relief if they are done dirty.
I like that.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I like that. Also, I've, mostly had good experiences with pharmacists. It is deeply weird to me that somebody would enter a field where they specifically disagree with part of their job.
Do you want to hear a wild flashback?
Yeah.
Do you know our first episode ever, June 28th, 2018, one of the stories we talked about was Nicole Ortega, who in Arizona was 10 weeks pregnant. There was no fetal heartbeat. The doctor sent her to a Walgreens to get mifepristone, and she was humiliated and intimidated by the pharmacist in front of her child. She left. Ended up having to go someplace else. And I thought it was, 300 episodes later, Erin, and we're still talking about people who take jobs who then want to just humiliate and intimidate people in
We
front
are-
of their children, as it happened to be in Nicole Ortega's case.
We are still on a hamster wheel. And the hamster wheel is
They
unfortunately...
can't stop us.
Yeah, the hamster wheel is made of coat hangers, which is not a great material
Oh,
for a
shit.
hamster wheel. But yeah, no, it's crazy. That was 6 years ago. Almost 6 years ago, and we're still banging our heads against the wall. But here's the thing. The assholes don't stop, and they're not going to stop.
Neither do we.
That's part of what makes them assholes. That's why it is so important as a person who wants something good for the country and for other people in the country, to be annoying. Like, embrace it. It's okay to be annoying.
Annoying as fuck.
Be annoying. Stick to your guns. Because there are always going to be persistent assholes that are never, ever going to give up and that are constantly going to be trying to get in the last word. And it's one thing if you're arguing with somebody online to just be like, you know what, fuck you, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. But when it's like the battleground is real life and people's real lives are in the balance and people's health is in the balance, we just have to be annoying, and we have to be annoying forever. And I'm willing to commit to that. I'm willing to commit to that for as long as I have energy. I will be annoying. And I know, listeners, that you will be annoying too. And I mean that in the best and most loving possible way. Okay. Ooh, shout out.
Shout out.
I say this with love. This is a joke that I was like, people might take this the wrong way, and I'm saying this. I'm saying this as a middle class member of the middle class. It's middle class sisters who grew up to become the first in their family to go to College Appreciation Week, aka Nurses and Teachers Appreciation Week. These are tireless, high burnout jobs, and the people who do them are super underpaid. And also, something that I've learned recently is when teachers want to take parental or family leave, they belong to a separate category in many states than other regular employees, and they get screwed out of taking they get screwed out of taking paid family leave in certain places.
That's
where
bullshit.
Everybody gets to take paid family leave except not teachers. It is fucking bullshit. What are you supposed to do? Cross your legs until the last day of school? It's ridiculous. So your summer lines up with it's absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, the wage gap between teachers and other college graduates recently hit the widest level since 1960. You know what happens when we don't have teachers?
Unsmart. Christy Nome?
No. Yes. Well, that is tragically true. Christy Nome is what happens when we don't have teachers. But it's also women cannot work. Families cannot have two people working outside of the home. And there's nothing wrong with staying home and taking care of your kids if that's truly what you want to do and truly what brings you fulfillment and satisfaction. I personally would lose my fucking mind if that's what I was doing, because I had to take care of kids all the time. Or I had to look after my daughter. I had to provide her education. We also I am not cut out to be a teacher either.
I would have a hard time. God bless them. It would be hard.
Bless them. You know what else I couldn't do?
What?
Be a nurse.
No. I know how I
shit.
am, and I think I'm decent, and I wouldn't even want to be my nurse.
The amount of patience, nerves of steel, absolute tirelessness, intelligence, and toughness you have to have the toughness that you have to be a nurse is the fact that it exists on the scale that it does is kind of mind-boggling, because there are so many nurses in this country, and so many of them are so tough and amazing and great and do such a good job. And the fact that there are that many incredible people out there working their asses off, and yet so many idiots also. It is mind-boggling. So nurses and teachers,
thank you
so much. We love you guys. If you're a teacher or a nurse, check out the deals from businesses like Chipotle, Sonic, Buffalo Wild Wings, and McAllister's Deli. They're offering discounts and free stuff.
That's wonderful.
And if you have a nurse in your life or a teacher in your life, be extra nice to them. And by extra nice, I don't mean get them a coffee cup. They have a lot of coffee cups.
No.
Extra Amazon gift cards.
Give them peace and quiet.
Teachers want gift cards to places where they like to shop. They don't want a bag of erasers. They want a gift card.
Let them make their own decisions.
And they want some peace and quiet. Also, shout out to my sister who is a teacher, and my mom.
And my mom.
Yeah, my mom was a teacher for a really long time, and now she's a school administrator in her, like, I would say victory lap. She's about to retire from public education.
I think my mom has accrued 3 years of vacation time.
Yeah, shout out also to like I have an uncle, 2 aunts who are teachers. We are a teaching ass family.
You're killing it.
Somehow I don't have the gene, but I am in awe of people who do. Okay, one more story. Alyssa, this is an interesting one. Take it away.
Noelia Voigt, the first Venezuelan American to win Miss USA in November 2023, announced this week that she will resign in order to protect her mental health. She said, quote, "In life, I strongly value the importance of making decisions that feel best for you and your mental health. My hope is that I continue to inspire others to remain steadfast, prioritize your mental health, advocate for yourself and others by using your voice, and never be afraid of what the future holds, even if it feels uncertain." Miss USA, good for you. Like, it had to have been hard to make that decision. And I mean, I know how burned out I feel sometimes, and I'm certainly not Miss USA. And I'm really glad that she not only is doing what is best for her, but talking about why she is doing it to, normalize and destigmatize for others.
Yeah, I also want to just say there's also some intrigue here.
A little bit? You want to get into the intrigue?
Intrigue. And if you end up in this corner of social media or TikTok, you will be served up endless Miss USA conspiracy theory TikToks. So if that is your bag, go for it. But if you want to just stick to the Met Gala content that you've been being fed for the last few days, maybe avoid it. But this is super,
Do it. Get into it.
Her announcement caused speculation from fans and popular TikTokers because the first letter of the first 11 sentences of her statement spelled, "I am silenced." Could that be an accident? Perhaps.
But
who knows?
So many words.
But it's not like, the pageant itself has a great track record of treating its contestants respectfully. And tragically, Miss USA 2019, Chelsea Christ, died by suicide last year after serving over 500 days as Miss USA due to COVID. And she often spoke about mental health. So something, again, we need more facts here.
Yeah.
Something may be going on. If nothing is going on, then the "I am silenced" first letters situation is an incredible accident. Yeah, so congratulations. Good for her for stepping down. I'm sure that was a difficult decision, but I think, she made the right one if it was the right decision for her.
Definitely. Our guest today is running to join the Texas State House in District 146, covering parts of the Houston area. She's facing a runoff election at the end of this month on May 28th. Lauren Simmons, welcome to Hysteria.
Hey, thanks for having me. Really happy to be here.
Of course, Lauren, what inspired you to run?
I think a few different things. My background is in union and labor organizing, and it's kind of one of those things where I'm always looking for a fight. And as an organizer, and if you've known organizers, a lot of us are just very critical. We're hypercritical of elected officials because depending on what type of labor organizing we're doing, we're typically the ones who are on the ground talking to the people who are most impacted and have the most to lose when, their representatives or whatever level of government aren't doing their jobs and delivering on their promises. And so as much as I consider myself not a politician, I looked at some of the things that were happening in our district, some of the needs that were going unmet, some of the places where I would have liked to see my state representatives show up for us in a bold way, in a way that made us feel heard, in a way that represented the district, and I just wasn't seeing that. And so I kind of went back and forth on it because I'm just like, man, I really like my job. I really like my privacy. I have kids. I have a 16-year-old and a 9-year-old. I'm not a lawyer. This is crazy, but I just had a moment, and I think kind of just putting myself in the shoes of the people that I care about the most and saying that if I had an opportunity to run this race and win and represent them at a higher level, and if I sit on the sidelines and allow our current representative to go back and do even more harmful or neglectful things as a representative, then I'm a little bit responsible. And so it was one of those either put up or shut up moments. I, consulted with my friends and family and people that I take seriously in the political world, and, just went for it.
I love that. So, I have been following you. You're very interesting. I read that incumbent Sean Nicole Thierry, who you are facing in the runoff, has received money from GOP billionaires. Why has a Democrat been getting money from GOP billionaires?
So that's what I had a hard time understanding. For me, if a person is writing, six figures or $1 million checks to Greg Abbott, really big checks to Donald Trump, it seems like, in my opinion, honestly, they shouldn't even, know how to get in contact with you. They shouldn't even know who you are if you're a Democrat. And that really bothered me because I used to just think, politicians and elected officials are extremely busy, and, maybe we're not having like these town halls, or, it's hard to get in touch with her because for whatever reason. But what it felt like when I started running this race was just maybe we just weren't the priority. Our voices weren't the priority. And, knowing what I know about the district from an economic standpoint, there's not probably any billionaires that live in 146 that I'm aware of. And I was like, I don't know how we combat that. Like, I don't know if I can round up enough and crowdfund enough, folks in the district to write a big check, to get your attention. But it really is concerning because people are giving you money for a reason. It's an investment and they want a return. And so when I did my research on some of who these people were, none of what they support seemed to align with not just me personally.
I love her clock.
But just
I want a clock
the
that
values
chimes.
of our district. We live in Texas. These districts are gerrymandered to hell and back. They are quilted together to produce a certain result on the ballot. And we're a big blue Democratic district. I mean, we went overwhelmingly for Biden, overwhelmingly for Obama. You can go all the way back. Mm-hmm. And so it was really, really frustrating to understand that people who are not invested in what's going on in our district, who don't probably care too much about the individuals, have so much control and a louder voice than we do with our own representative.
So here's a question. Sean has taken some shitty votes, hasn't she?
Yeah, a couple of them I think were pretty bad. You can, get into the weeds of some of the other things that, like, for me as a labor organizer, that I feel like, weren't necessarily great in terms of like working people. But I think the two votes, that we're talking about with the book ban and the banning access to gender affirming care were pretty bad. And not just bad in the sense that, this is not like aligned with democratic values, but bad in the sense that these are laws that essentially are targeting vulnerable populations. They're also not legislative priorities for our district. And I think about the time and the labor and our tax dollars that were spent on, really just nonsense legislation. Right. Like the book ban, for example, was struck down by the most conservative appeals, the most conservative court that we have almost in this nation. So if it was too crappy of a piece of legislation for them, like, how much time was spent on that? That could have been spent on thinking about, like,
this lady's good.
Why parts of 146 are food deserts, or the rampant gun violence that's happening, or the fact that people are being priced out of their homes in certain parts of the district, or the flood, mitigation issues. Like, there's so many different things that I would have really wanted my state representative to give a 12-minute speech about versus getting caught up in culture war nonsense with, Greg Abbott and his agenda that just doesn't serve the population that you're supposed to be representing.
Yeah, Greg Abbott is a goddamn disgrace to Texas. A fucking disgrace.
Right. So we love to highlight how important our state and local leaders are. In a state as deep red as Texas, what difference can state representatives like you make?
I think about it from a lot of, different perspectives. One, I don't know if, I don't think there's very many like just regular working class moms in the legislature. That's a perspective that I bring. The intersections of my identity as a queer Black woman, as a woman who has, who was a mother very young, who's had to survive on, welfare and different things like that. I bring a voice into the room that sometimes is not heard. I think about the things that my family has been through, even with the ban on gender affirming care. I don't have a trans child, but I do have a child with a chronic illness. And her dad and I have had to make some hard decisions along with her medical team about like courses of action as far as, you know, is she going to get a blood transfusion? Are y'all okay with administering opioids? You know, this, that, or the other. And what I kind of continuously say is, you know, laws are the laws for what they are meant for. But the Supreme Court rules on presidents all the time. And all it takes is one law that is there on the books that can be used to do even more harm once it's expounded upon. And so I had a moment where I just said to myself, you know, as hard as those decisions are to make for me and my husband, I couldn't imagine having an added barrier of Greg Abbott saying, well, I don't agree, you know, with your daughter's experimental medication. So, you know, no more of that for you. And I think about...
So I only sold one of these skins for 800 mil, and I'm going to go lower now. When these bomb out in like 36 hours, I will go lower probably to like 600, and I've got to remember I've got to lower it to like 550 or 600, but that would still be so amazing. People are interested. You can see they're buying in at 100 million ISK. It is something that they are interested in, but I didn't sell them like hotcakes like I kind of thought I would. So that's okay, but I still made so much money though. I did. There's new mail. Help encapsulate to endure membership with a very personal damage with this terminal episode of the bowel cancer at RDB once this is not others that take part in a promising, potentially life-saving trial. 2 years ago, this trial would help me keep the cancer at bay. Think of the for your support your child in the scan world. I think we can achieve that. If I say limits covered 9% of it, I was still very supported to get as a long-time player. Wow. And it's a GoFundMe. Wow. Well, I don't know. Anyways. Gonna block this guy. Block. No, wait. Did I block this guy? This person worry. Yep. Hello, minor. Did we block this guy? Fucking loser.
You know, that bill was going to pass with or without Sean Theory's vote. So her vote was largely symbolic. But maybe somebody could have done something and said something and given a perspective in that space and in that time that shed light on the unintended consequences of these pieces of legislation that are meant to harm one group, but have such a, or could have potentially have such a much larger impact. And this is not to say that, you know, trans kids don't matter, because they absolutely do. But I also am very aware of a lot of times
all kids matter.
It's not really culturally, I guess, appropriate now to say that you can't stand Black people and you can't stand disabled people. I mean, in some, you know, pockets of the country, we're seeing that, you know, pop up again. But it's very easy to target a community that's already vulnerable, and then you come back the second round and you're attaching even more things that are harmful to a broader group. But I think the point of being having a state representative that is connected to the community, you're sharing a perspective to kind of push back on some of those loud voices with lots of money that have their own agenda. And it's just ensuring that regular working class folks, regular people in the district, people who are disconnected from the process, people who don't even vote in these elections, have a seat at the table, and that somebody is speaking up for them.
So, Lauren, while you're out there campaigning, talking to folks in your district, what's giving you hope?
What's giving me hope is that people are excited for change. People are excited to have their door knocked. People are excited to think about a bolder vision for our district and for our state. I tell people at the doors a lot of times, you know, because I hear so much, I can't stand Greg Abbott, he's the worst, you know, Ken Paxton this and Dan Patrick that. And I'm like, yeah, we have a lot of work to do to turn this state blue, but it's a possibility. And what's going to help us get there is ensuring people like me are able to be elected, and that we are turning out good Democrats up and down the ballot in every election. Let's not just think about every 4 years at the top of the ticket, or even just your state rep, your state senator. Think about who's serving you on the city council. Think about who's serving you on the school board. We just had an election last Saturday for the HCAD, the Harris Central Appraisal District. That was a board that has existed for a while, and all of those positions were appointed. Now, all of a sudden, we're having to vote on 3 people to represent us in that capacity. And so when I was knocking doors for myself, I was taking time to also try to educate people about the May 4th election. 1, to let them know that I don't panic if you don't see me on the ballot, but 2, to kind of give them an understanding of what is happening, why this is happening, and what's at stake. And I think being able just to have those conversations are so important. And because our district just has been underworked, like I can remember this, the sharp contrast between when I had, her predecessor as a state representative, who's now our state senator, and the transition and just kind of that drop off in communication, that drop off in door knocking, that drop off in phone banking, and really just not being, communicated with about what's going on, and really just kind of taking myself out of it and say, yes, I absolutely want your vote. I need your vote, but I need you just to
full
come out
card.
and vote.
Yay.
And then I need you to stay in the fight, stay in the game, and pay attention to what's going on, because we have the potential to change this state. Harris County is a big blue dot. Houston is a big blue dot. And if enough of us just get off the sidelines and get into the game, we can really make some real impact. But the other side of that is making sure that people have something to believe in.
I love her. She sounds like she actually cares.
You have to be in the community. You have to talk to people. You have to help people understand what's at stake. And
I used to do a lot of outreach.
Because if you voted a certain way for decades on decades, especially in Texas, and you just have not seen any real change in your opinion, and that's in your perspective, if your life has not gotten better, and if it seems like the more work you do, and it seems like we're, still on the losing side, it's going to get harder and harder to bring our people out each election. So I really want to help people, feel more connected to the process and let them know it's a marathon and not a sprint. But if we work together, we can get some stuff done.
Lauren Simmons, thank you for all the work you're doing. Thank you for joining me on Hysteria today. Good luck on the 28th. And listeners, to find out more ways you can help Lauren and people like Lauren, go.
That's good. That's going to make me a lot closer to my goal. It's good. That's like a whole $5,000 to come in, something like that. That's fucking good. It's good. It's good. It's good. I'm so glad I did this epic chest. It was so worth it. Did you give me the burn? Am I supposed to, do that thing to unlock the other chest, I guess? Is that sort of what you're saying? Because I don't really understand this puzzle. I'll try it, though, or whatever. Oh, it is. It's just a lever? Oh, I didn't know that. Shit, I didn't know that. Well, shit, I didn't know that. Is it open now? Or do you have to, hit 2? No, you have to hit 2, huh? Where's the other lever? Where's the other lever? You're not, obvious enough. Oh, my God. I don't know. Terra Nephilim. He looks horrible. I don't want to fight him. Yeah, I think I'm done fucking around here and just go back to farming now. I kind of want to mess around in Eden Grove now. I've been sitting in the desert forever, and honestly, it's all the same. All the wood and all the stuff, it all pays. There's a free epic chest that I should go to every day that I need to, like, memorize and actually go to if I'm going to main this game. There's a daily elite chest that you can just go to in 10 seconds, pretty much. It's down on the southern side of the desert over here at that one. And you have to climb, which is kind of annoying, but it's still like a 10-second,
Go to
you know, 10-second chest.
votesaveamerica.com.
When I pulled 2 gold scarabs in the last like 4 days. That's like 8,000 gold or something like that. And I begin to understand that those chests, they're like worth more. The chest is a better swing at something much higher than even almost like the. Oh, what's this? Oh, yeah. Wait, did I go to the right place? Yes, I did. What's that? The hell is that? Oh yeah, there's like a season story. I should probably do that, honestly. I don't know. I'm like leveling my Void Gauntlet. I'd rather hit 20 and then switch it up, because Void Gauntlet's not that good. It's like good, but I think it's only good like as a healer's weapon. Yeah, this chest, I should come here every day, every time I log in. And I'm going to. Look, the loot is just off the fucking hook. I wish you could see all the loot. I wish they wouldn't, like, truncate it. 625 dex, pick up. Geocomo's thingy. I'm noticing that my heart rune is off, which is dumb, and you seem to be fucking with my set or something. So I'm gonna see if I need to fix that. Yeah, like, okay, what is it that you're doing here? See, you did. You fucked with my heart rune, and you took it out of all of my slots, and that's dumb. It's ignorant. It's ignorant. You're ignorant. Okay. What is that? Is this? It's like Rise of the Beast. I met a story by the name of Phaedra, advanced herself something of a poet. She's looking to write the next great epic. Look, I'm here now. I'm like another favorite stories. So, is this the quest? Oh, sorry. Is this the map character Ice Gauntlet? Oh, I got Ice Gauntlet. Good. So now I need to choose my next stability, which I didn't want this one. I wanted this one, the Ice Storm. Yep, this will be dope as fuck. Give me that. That makes this a lot more fun. Nice. What's that thing? The hell is that? What is that? I'm going to turn on the video again. I can't see my mouse.
Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, so okay, if I want to do stuff, I just have to hit the escape button. Okay, I understand a little bit better now. Trial of the Devourer, 600 to 625. Okay, sure.
Melania, you also write about a boy.
Nope, loud. Lots of politics stuff, but I don't want to be in politics. We're gonna go look at anything here. How was Will Smith forced his son to fail? Dilemma of Ubisoft's dilemma. Oh, Jimquisition. Here we go. This will be good.
Oh, here it goes.
Okay, S.
I.
S.
S. T.
E.
R.
Sister. Sister?
What the hell? Lodge Inquisition.
Hello, I was going to show you a video game that I've been playing, but I can't because, controller's on the blink. Yeah. Oh, well. I'll give you a little clue, though.
Oh, this is the new raid.
Admittedly, it's one of their better games, even though it largely isn't theirs.
Whoa. Hey, why'd you do that?
Shut up, you.
Anyway,
I'll smash a window if I want to.
Today's video is one that I hope will be good. I feel awful. I am sweating like nobody's business. I'm not very well at all. The chronic pain is terrible. I slept on my neck weird, and now I've got some sort of pinched nerve or something. I
Oh,
don't want to be here.
that's horrible. I'm
On the
sorry.
plus side, my hair looks fantastic. It's
Yeah.
always a thorny problem, isn't it, when something that deserves to suffer will inflict its suffering onto those who don't. Make no mistake, Ubisoft, of all companies, deserves a downfall. When you think of the slimiest, scummiest publishers in the game industry, the corporations that gaming would be a far better place without, Ubisoft skulks high among the very nastiest, holding shame of place among the likes of Electronic Arts, Activision and Warner Brothers. For the many, too many years this show has kept itself scraped together and dragging itself along like that bloke with wheels for legs in the Silent Hill film, Ubisoft has been one of the most common and most deserving targets of ire. Righteously torn into for both its distasteful business practices and its appalling fucking grotesque mistreatment of employees that's never truly been answered for. Yes, if Ubisoft were to burn to the fucking ground, it would be a conflagration well earned. Trouble is, that fire would most hurt those at the company who don't have golden parachutes and millions of dollars to fall back on.
this is an
No,
elite
those
chest,
are reserved
too.
for the people that do deserve repercussions. The ones who...
So these two elite chests are the lazy solo players chests, and I didn't really know. I mean, I did know, I knew, but I just never really thought about how important it is. Gotta remember, yeah, and then there's one over here too. Yeah. And these are the lazy solo players chests. That chest, this chest. And these are the ones that you can get every day, like just by jumping here and walking to them. Like they're right in sight. You know, it's not far. And that's how you get ahead in this game solo. Like, and I should have been doing it every day, but I mean, I don't really care to do dailies. But I mean, yeah, like on the new server, however, ooh, concealed vault. What the hell is that? Gypsum, nice, and soul motes, life motes, and 200 gold. Not bad. Yeah, I'm happy. So, yeah, so I'll come back here every day. Been thinking that I want to get to Brimstone pretty much immediately, because if I can dominate the cactus flesh market, I can charge whatever I want. I could charge 5 gold per, something like that. So I might chain level. I might like speed level, because ECRs are my main interest, and so is like farming and ECRs and leveling weapons are my main interest. So, you know, and all the rest of it, the questing and all that stuff, I think I'll just skip through all of that. I've seen it so many times, I don't frankly care. I'm glad they improved the starter, because I didn't really like the starting. I didn't like how they forced you to do the weapon swing or anything like that. I didn't really like the starter too much, and I don't like the character creation either. I hope they improved that too. The character creation is frankly fucking sad on such a big MMO. These fugly characters... So last set. Ooh, he's got a minor set for 2k only, huh? Yeah, I'll take it. Last set, Z-Rosh. I'll take it, yeah. I'll take the set, yeah. Where to meet? This guy's not responding. Was I too slow? Damn it. Anyways, I'm gonna move. I want to go to Eden Grove and just see what Eden Grove even is now. Eden Grove has changed so much. Like, where did I used to chop trees? Was it Great Cleave? Oh, maybe I used to actually chop trees in Great Cleave, was it? One of these has a really good aged wood forest, and I never remember where it is. It's like, I thought it was that one. Yeah, isn't it this one? I think it's that one, isn't it? I don't know. No, wait. It's a town, or at least it used to be, but they changed Eden Grove totally. Art is suffering.
Whose fault this is. The company's going through an absolute shithouse time right now. One of the most historically successful and profitable publishers in the business is faltering to such a degree that investors are publicly unhappy, and there's a very real possibility of its owners, the Juimo family, finally selling up in a bid to reverse course. There has been quite a bit of pleasure expressed in the gaming community regarding this news, and such pleasure is understandable if it's derived from a mere surface level.
Maybe he's blocked me. I don't know. Fine, don't take my money.
Perspective. If you see Ubisoft merely as a monolith, one that pumps out weak open-world games stuffed with predatory microtransactions and run by overpaid little monsters, then yeah, you're probably going to be pretty satisfied. Unfortunately, due to the economic system we have, which I'm going to refer to as sparkling serfdom, because calling Invite's proper name upsets people for being too political, I can't stand here punching the air in celebratory joy. No, this isn't like it'll be when Mitch McConnell dies. The situation is inherently more nuanced, and thanks to the way...
When the Brits are dissing you, you know your fucking party sucks. If the Brits are dissing you, your party's dead. Like, full blown. If Jimquisition is talking about Mitch McConnell,
businesses operate, the logical endpoint of Ubisoft's theoretical downfall would actually be fucking infuriating in its injustice. After all, companies like Ubisoft only exist thanks to the hard work of people who end up relying on them for a livelihood. In this case, such people are the programmers and artists, the designers, the developers, the ones who do the actual work of making games. It's work that pays significantly less than men like EvE help themselves to from the profit said work brings in. And when a big company fails, while on paper the failure may be well deserved, those responsible will not feel that failure's sting. Basically, if EvE sold the company as a result of its failures, guess what happens to the guy who ran the business into the ground and oversaw an abusive corporate culture for which he was never held to account? Well, in this just world, he gets lots and lots and lots of money to add to the lots and lots and lots of money the fucking cretin already has. Oh, good things do go to good people. All things said though, fuck that one guy from Ubisoft who made a big performance about being ashamed at the people celebrating. We'll get to that bit later on though. Oh, and before we go over the company's recent history, I in absolutely no way am willing to entertain any of the go woke, go broke shit that the usual gaggle of Nazis are trotting out in relation to any of this. Those little fuckers need to stop making everything about them and their obsessive yearning for more white men in video games. No, Ubisoft's not having a rough time because they did diversity or whatever. Anybody with half a brain cell and the ability to contextualize the circumstances of any given company within the wider game industry's horrifying freefall can tell you that. Anyway, last month, Ubisoft announced that it would be delaying the release of Assassin's Creed Shadows, the latest entry to a cash cow that has been milked so dry the udders are squirting out little tiny mummies. Originally slated for a November release, Shadows has been pushed back to February 14th of 2025. Oh, romantic! The reason behind this is an interesting one. Well, there are a couple of reasons, but Ubisoft said the decision to delay the game was a result of Star Wars Outlaws, which released on August 30th and has just recently passed 1 million sales, underperforming. And with sales figures like that, yeah, for once I actually agree with a publisher saying a game performed below expectations. Usually that's just the greed talking, as publishers put out games expecting them to sell millions of copies in a few days, regardless of scale, genre, or audience appeal, and then they whine about how they didn't do well enough even if they actually did sell millions of copies. But when you have the marketing muscle of Ubisoft combined with the pop culture might of Star Wars, and it takes a month to hit 1 million, yeah, that actually is cause for alarm bells to ring. Of course, that can say just as much about Star Wars as it does about Ubisoft. The sheer volume of movies, TV shows, and other media revolving around that one franchise alone is absolutely fucking dizzying in its saturation, and frankly, even bigger projects could get lost in the sea of exploitation. It needs to be noted that Outlaws came out following Star Wars Hunters, a truly shit-tier freemium game that offered very little gameplay in return for a truly carnivorous pit of microtransactions. I'm pointing that out not necessarily because I think Star Wars Hunters deserves any specific blame, but because Star Wars Hunters can specifically go fuck itself. I wish I could say I'm shocked that Star Wars Outlaws had what Ubisoft calls softer than expected sales. That's not to say I specifically thought it would fail, because in truth I haven't thought about it at all. What I mean to say is that very little can shock me anymore when it comes to the game industry fucking up. Like I said, the business is in fucking freefall at the moment, a culmination of years of unsustainable business models contributing to a collapse I fucking said was gonna happen. At this point, fucking Call of Duty could start underperforming, and I wouldn't need to pick my jaw up off the floor. Nevertheless, there can be a little doubt that Ubisoft more than just expected Outlaws to do better, it expected the thing to do gangbusters.
Call of Duty has been
and part of the equation
underperforming
may well
horribly.
have nothing
Vanguard
to do with Star
was a
Wars and everything
disaster.
to do with them.
What are you
Those
talking
softer
about?
than expected sales are just one part of the overall story of Ubisoft's dilemma. The publisher lost over half its market value over the course of the year. I'm no economist, but, it's not good, is it? Is it good? Ubisoft's investors certainly don't think so, as evidenced by a particularly damning open letter from one of them. As a significant minority shareholder in Ubisoft Entertainment via AJ Investments and our partners, we are writing to express our deep dissatisfaction with the current performance and strategic direction of the company. The recent quarterly sales, which included the postponement of key games like Rainbow Six Siege and The Division into the 2025 lineup and a lowered revenue outlook for the Q2 2024, have heightened our concerns about the management's ability to deliver value to shareholders over the long term. Share price of Ubisoft has decreased by more than 40% over the last year compared to the rise of its competitors and indexes. I rarely ever agree with investors of any stripe, and there's a lot about this letter I either don't agree with or don't give a fucking fuck about, but the letter actually complains about some stuff I've been complaining about for years, pointing to the specific incompetence of Ubisoft's leadership and the desperate short-term thinking that has come to typify this thoroughly fucked up industry. As it says, management is focused on pleasing investors with beating quarterly results and not focusing on long-term strategy to provide exceptional experience for the gamers. What do you mean they don't provide exceptional experience? They sell boosters. XP, please. Oh god, my wits are lost on the internet. This is very literally the problem I've been highlighting as I've discussed the horribly tenuous position the game industry is in, especially recently, as I've talked about how unsustainable it is to keep promising investors the ludicrous thing they desire. Businesses that infinitely grow for an infinite amount of time, profits that always increase every single year at a rapid rate, with no ceiling. It's what we at the Jimquisition have dubbed the lie of infinite growth. The League. It's not very appealing, is it? Craig, cancel the League shirts. Nobody's gonna want those. The League is the same lie responsible for all the layoffs and studio closures we've seen, where companies are trying to save money to maintain the illusion that more and more cash just keeps flooding in. It's the lie that leads to short-term thinking, unrealistic expectations, over-the-line pressure put on studios, and promises made to shareholders that border on outright fucking fantasy. What is happening to Ubisoft is similar to stuff we're seeing all over the game industry right now. The chickens coming home to bloody roost. I hate to say I told you so, because I love to say I told you so. Which I did. I told you so. I said. Perhaps the biggest bit of news to surface from all this is that Ubisoft and its primary investor Tencent are considering something suggested by the open letter, a buyout. As those in charge scrabble for ways to change its fortunes, taking the company private has been floated as a possibility. In an ideal world, all of this chicken roosting would put egg on the faces of those who deserve it, but as we've seen with those layoffs, the ones responsible for the incompetence, the abuse, the short-term thinking and the unsustainable lies are really good at one thing: protecting their asses and making sure they never pay for their own mistakes. Game industry executives may take home most of the money, but they pass 100% of the buck. This is why people who give themselves millions of dollars in performance bonuses lay off hundreds of employees instead of, giving some of that money back. Layoffs, as we've discussed in other videos, are entirely the result of the executive class choosing to sacrifice human livelihoods over what amounts to pocket money for them, refusing to even take a pay cut that they could easily afford, refusing to pay any sort of price for their own bad decisions, poor judgment and product meddling. Not when they can make others pay it for them. Oh, speaking of poor judgment and product meddling, did you know Ubisoft has a monetization director? Like, that's the actual job title. I didn't really give it a thought until said director decided to sound off on LinkedIn. See, like I said earlier, plenty of people have been a lot less sober than I about Ubisoft's struggles, and the company's director in charge of exploitative and ableist financial predation has hit back. The gaming industry is rough at the moment, we all know it, but seeing how gamers react on social medias, wishing ill fate to companies and people alike is sad, and not only towards Ubisoft, even though it is always the vocal minority that express themselves on social media. I was hurt and ashamed to be part of this community. Thing is, with some of that, this guy isn't inherently wrong, largely because a lot of the gloating is coming from those anti-woke, DEI-obsessed nerds as I dismissed earlier. It's part of what I fucking hate about those chudlings. Not only do they hijack important and worthwhile discussions with their vomitous whining about in-game pride flags, they actively give executives cover to bury any and all criticism under the label of indecent hate-mongering. Way to go, nice job. God, it's almost as if that mob indirectly protects the most deserving perpetrators by design. Weird. As if to prove my point, he continues in a way that buries all criticism under the label of indecent hate-mongering. What is even more revolting is coming on LinkedIn and seeing the same comments from people within the industry. On top of exposing yourself as a clearly non-decent human being, you are affecting thousands of employees that are already impacted by all the hate despite doing their best to deliver incredible experiences. How can you wish a company to fail simply because they do not cater to you or that the product does not please you is beyond me. Yeah, see, that's where he loses me because, if he wanted to look at who is ultimately responsible for the employees being impacted, he needs to look a little closer to fucking home. After all, Ubisoft's excessive monetization is part of why the incredible experiences artists are trying to deliver end up so creatively fucking compromised. It's also part of that short-sighted investor-pleasing that one of the company's own fucking investors called out. A monetization director giving a lecture on decency is like the bubonic plague giving a lecture about personal hygiene. We're all on the same boat. Please, please, please stop spreading hate. We should all uplift each other instead of bringing each other down. Haha, yeah. We're all in the same boat, all right. But not all of us are being thrown overboard, are we? Management, I find, tends to stay pretty fucking dry when the hull starts to leak. I see executives trot out the "we're in this together" shit all the fucking time, and you can absolutely friggin' spare me. Ubisoft's leadership screwed this up. Ubisoft's leadership will punish other people for it. Ubisoft's leadership honestly deserves to be fucking hated. But it's because of Ubisoft's leadership that if it collapsed tomorrow, I couldn't in good conscience be happy about it. And I need you to understand exactly how much I hate Ubisoft so you can appreciate how hard it would be for me to not celebrate. I hate Ubisoft, and when I say I hate Ubisoft, I don't just mean it the way I do when I express contempt for any other billion-dollar company. There is a reason that ever since I started writing game reviews again, I've not covered a single Ubisoft game. The company genuinely disgusts me. Ubisoft's business practices are of course rotten. This is barely in contention. As one of the most financially exploitative publishers in the industry, Ubisoft had a far-reaching influence that stained games as both a medium and a market. there isn't a form of predatory monetization the company hasn't embraced and helped popularize. It basically led the live service bandwagon, a mistakenly mass-adopted boom that directly contributed to the epidemic of busts we're seeing now. Ubisoft ludicrously characterized that model as a magic infinite money circle. Plus, you know, these are the fucking clowns that put out so many special editions of games. They literally started doing versions that were more ultimate than their ultimate versions. That doesn't work. Further than that though, my loathing of Ubisoft has some personal flavouring. I've mentioned a few times in the past that the reason things between myself and the Escapist broke down way back when was my review of Assassin's Creed Unity was deemed a threat to advertising deals. That's one thing, but it's not the main reason for my deeply personal resentment, no. Just in case I've let any of you forget, Ubisoft is an abuser. Yves Guillemot and his buddies oversaw an Ubisoft that was outed for prejudice, harassment and abuse at the hands of its executives, as well as the people that management and HR both protected. I won't go over all the details again, but they were bad. Really fucking bad. And while some executives were performatively booted while keeping their company's shares, there was no real accountability, just a vague promise to do better that never was meant, because to this day, employees still don't feel safe at the company and they say very little has actually changed. I have friends who were assaulted by people at this fucking company. That is how much I hate them. That is how much I want to see Yves Guillemot and the publisher's other inept, toxic, pathetic little despots suffer. But they won't. If Ubisoft collapse, they're all rich enough to be okay. If the company was bought out, they'll make money off the sale and may just keep their cushy positions as well. They're the greased pigs of consequences, and it's just fucking disgusting. This hasn't been a pleasant one this week, has it? It never is when I go in on Ubisoft. As well as how vile the company is on principle, my deeply personal hatred for the company pretty much sucks the mood out of any subject they're involved in. So sorry about that.
It's okay. It's
I mean,
them,
I'm not the one that
you.
should be apologising, but
It's
the
them,
people
not
whose
you.
fault it is won't. Fucking
No, they won't.
cunts. F-A-R-T. Cryptmaster, by the way, is a fucking excellent game. Thank God for me.
Uh, 50 cents, 20 years plot, 20-year plot to destroy Diddy. I mean, yeah, why not? It sounds funny.
Spouse. The lawsuit included multiple accusations against Diddy of sex trafficking, sexual abuse.
Thank you,
On the 16th of
Trap Lore
November
Ross.
2023, a bombshell was dropped on the entertainment industry. Singer Cassie Ventura filed a lawsuit under the New York Adult Survivors Act against Sean P. Diddy Combs, her ex-spouse. The lawsuit included multiple accusations against Diddy of sex trafficking, sexual abuse, and even worse. Reports of these allegations began making headlines internationally and caused a wildfire online. Throughout November, it only got worse. What followed was a slew of other horrendous allegations and lawsuits, all against P. Diddy. And in the midst of all of these lawsuits, Diddy had become public enemy number one. To this day, Diddy is still being publicly shamed and has essentially become a meme, giving birth to the hilarious nickname The Diddler, and birthing the newest slang for when you do something sus in hip-hop, no Diddy. While for some, Diddy's become hip-hop's number one villain, but over the years, he's made so many enemies, and ultimately, many people people were simply delighted to hear of the news of his downfall. One of these people is known to be a hip-hop villain for perhaps less dark reasons. That person is 50 Cent, one of hip-hop's biggest trolls. He took Diddy's downfall as prime time to dish out all of his impending hate against his longtime music industry nemesis. Even months before the allegations came to light, 50 would often take to Instagram to throw jabs at the diddler, such as posting the infamous Lil Baby picture from Michael Rubin's annual White Party, where 50 Cent vowed to never attend a party where Diddy is attending. But after November 2023, following the raids at several of Diddy's homes, 50 showed no mercy online and turned his aim much more specifically towards Diddy, like in this post showing a scene from America.
Well, I want to see it. It was probably funny. Go back, damn it. Where 50 Cent immediately vowed to never go to a P. Diddy party. See, this is why I don't go to no party Puffy and them at. The fuck is going on here? Get the fuck off my young, oh my god. What?
50 would often take to Instagram to throw jabs at the diddler, such as posting the infamous Lil Baby picture from Michael Rubin's annual White Party, where 50 Cent vowed to never attend a party where Diddy is attending. But after November 2023, following the raids at several of Diddy's homes, 50 showed no mercy online and turned his aim much more specifically towards Diddy, like in this post.
Wait. When them boys show up at Puffy crib again, he go on be like, so let me tell you about them people on those tapes. Oh my god. 50 got more time than money, yo. Oh my god. Damn, we love you, bro, but damn, we tired of hearing about Puff, man.
Showing a scene from American Gangster with a caption saying, when them boys show up at Puffy crib again, he gonna be like, let me tell you about all them people on them tapes. LOL.
And he was right, too.
Now, before I get any further into the story of Diddy versus 50, I just want to leave a quick disclaimer. Okay, this story will have some pretty dark themes as part of it, mainly relating to some of the twisted things that Diddy's been up to. But this video has been censored in order to comply with all of YouTube's community guidelines. So no swearing's going to appear in this video, no violence. There's not really anything violent in this video, but I'm just letting you know that there are going to be some pretty heavy themes going on throughout this video. But the video has been censored, and if you want to see an uncut version of this video with all the swearing and other things that I just didn't want to put in this version of the video, and I do this for all of my videos, head on over to patreon.com/traplawross and you can go and watch it there, just for $2. Thanks. 50 would even share clips of Diddy's neighbors making heinous claims of multiple buses filled with minors regularly entering his residence. Or even 50 essentially calling Diddy the new R. Kelly, whilst teasing a full high-budget documentary that he was producing all about Diddy's allegations, similar to Surviving R. Kelly. 50 has been trolling Diddy to such an extent that it's made its own headlines on prominent news outlets like CNN. But this isn't just 50 trying to hijack a popular news story of the times. The truth is, Diddy and 50 have a deep and dark history spanning decades, going all the way back to a time when they were friends, coming up in New York's cutthroat hip-hop scene, eventually teaming up against shared ops, in the end becoming frenemies, and finally full-blown enemies, with 50 Cent in 2024 ultimately becoming P. Diddy's worst nightmare. So today, let's look into the history of this beef that goes back decades and uncover why 50 Cent hates Diddy so much that he waited 20 years for this downfall.
Yo, MTV Raps, and we up in the house that these bad boys built, you know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
Puffy and crew. So Puffy,
this is my crew than me.
This is family.
Artists always first, baby.
Puffy, take it away.
Oh my god, that's a very, very young 50 Cent.
Way.
Check it out. This is my man, the Notorious B.I.G.
What's the deal? What's going on?
Damn.
The show you're about to see is a conversation with producer, performer, and all-round record mogul Puffy Combs. It was recorded last March, just after the murder of Puffy's friend and protege Biggie Smalls, the notorious B.I.G.
See, I'm crazy. I be thinking, yep. I was crazy enough to believe what the I was saying gonna happen was gonna happen. And that's why I was persistent enough and consistent enough to exist now. You sitting right here, boy. Queen. Coming at you outside. On the street, and I am on wax. So if you see me in New York, you see me making my stack.
And the award for best rap video goes to, come on, Playboy, 50 Cent.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? He's not an artist.
He's out.
Yeah, but he's not an artist. See, an artist would be someone who actually wrote something.
He's like, I had 50 and Puff at the same table? He said, it was the most awkward shit ever, and that you was instigating some.
Puff was like, why don't we like go shopping or something? I mean, like, I paid for it. And I was like, what the f this just say?
was a deal that you guys tried to make happen. What went wrong with that deal?
You know why it didn't go through. Diddy didn't let it go through.
Y'all have heard about the world famous party. Many have asked, but few are chosen.
On everybody's horizon.
Yeah, definitely. I was looking for you. I tell you, get your hand out my pocket, man. Get your hand out my pocket. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing on the channel. Get your hand out my pocket, man.
Okay, I'm telling you right now, when I want to work with Diddy, I'm going to physically put my hands on somebody for the ratings. Because he's not going to outdo me.
Ciroc Broadcast is entering into a groundbreaking strategic alliance with Sean Combs.
Oh my God.
Potatoes or grapes? I'm a king. Kings drink grapes. Peasants drink potatoes.
Thank you, Trap Laura Ross, for the excellent content for my stream. I've liked and sub to your channel.
Clothes that you would get dressed in, the fragrance you would put on.
This shit is
listen
good.
to
It's
music
actually very
that I
good.
produced, to buy the vodka that was
Trap
in the club.
Laura Ross.
What a weird name. It could be.
Sometimes I like Puff.
Sometimes you like him, sometimes you don't.
No. 50 Cent sent a case of effing up here for Diddy. Now, be clear, Diddy did send 50 a whole lifetime supply of Ciroc for his birthday as well. So you guys have a hopefully friendly back and forth.
Yeah.
He's drinking this puffy juice, man. Get out of here with that.
Hopefully he appreciates me opening up the doors for him continuously.
That's how I feel about your boys.
I told you can't trust these. Now, Puffy done killed Tupac, man.
He said you did the same thing to him. You asked him to take him shopping.
Yeah. I thought he needed some clothes.
50 Cent has thrown a few insults your way recently. Have you talked to him about this, and why do you think he's throwing insults at you?
I mean, or some insecurities.
That's why I don't be going to the puffy parties. Later you gonna find out a little shit I be saying, man. Do you understand what I'm saying? Man, listen, I'm trying to tell you the truth. But the truth, sometimes it hurts.
Before we go any further, guys, I just want to ask a quick favor of you, okay? As you know, I make very long, very detailed videos, and I'll be honest with you, recently we've been having a bit of a problem with reviewing the videos. It takes hours to review the videos and look for mistakes. There's been times when I've sat there and watched a video for 4 or 5 hours and found one tiny mistake, and my entire day's been wasted, okay? It's very difficult. I think when I made the 6-hour Youngboy video, I think that was the record. I think I watched that video 27 times. It drove me a little bit crazy. It drove me Youngboy crazy. I think that's why Youngboy is my favorite rapper now, which I know people don't like to hear. But anyway, going forward, we're looking for people from the audience, you, okay, Trap Lord disciples. We're looking for you guys to help us review the videos, help us make sure that there's no mistakes or problems in the videos. And I'm literally going to pay you guys. I'm going to pay you, one of you lucky souls or a few of you, to watch my videos. So in this video, okay, I've hidden 5 little mistakes. Okay, I'm not going to tell you what they are. I'm not going to tell you where they are. Okay, but in this video, there are 5 little minor mistakes that shouldn't really have been there. They're below the standards of the Trap Lord channel. Okay, so what I want you guys to do is watch this video, and if you can spot those 5 exact mistakes and tell me the exact time codes where those took place, let me know. Hit the link in description, right, on intelcartel.org. Tell me where those mistakes were. Go on that website. Tell me the exact time codes where those mistakes were. And if you correctly spot all 5 of the mistakes in this video, okay, I might just give you some money. Okay, and on an ongoing basis, I'm trying to build up a whole bunch of people, a whole pool of people who I can call upon and pay straight cash money to watch and review my videos to help me find all the mistakes so that they're a tip-top, no problems with these videos. So if you're interested, hit that link in description. Let me know if you spotted the 5 mistakes in this video, and let's get it. Back to the video.
I'm not going to watch your video 50,000 times.
To understand the origins of this beef, it's important to first look at the pairs come up in the industry and where exactly they initially begun clashing heads. Sean Combs was born in 1969, and he was raised in the grimy streets of Harlem, New York in the 1970s, as he would explain to DJ Vlad in a throwback interview.
I'm a Harlem boy, no disrespect to anybody. That's where my mom was from. That's where my father's from. That's where my father died at. That's where I was born. That's what I represent. That's my swag. That's my tenacity. I just love being from there. That's where my soul comes from. That hustler mentality has a lot to do with why I am
After the loss of his father Melvin at the age of 2, Sean and his family moved into the suburbs of Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon is a city in Westchester County, New York, in the United States. It's an inner suburb of New York City, immediately to the north of the borough of the Bronx, and Sean credited Mount Vernon for broadening his horizons and introducing him to new cultures and opportunities. In comparison to Harlem, it was a completely different world. Sean attended an all-boys private Montessori school, Mount St. Michael Academy, and he spent the rest of his adolescence in Mount Vernon and took a liking to the performance arts. It was reported that in his teenage years, Sean actually danced in several music videos for big artists like Diana Ross, which would explain his numerous music video antics later on in his career. After high school, he went to Howard University in DC to pursue a business degree, and it was during college that Diddy began gaining a reputation for throwing huge parties. These parties were becoming a key part of Sean's personality, and it was really what made him so popular. Sean and DJ Derek Angeletti became very close after this and began throwing multiple parties every single month. Celebrities even began attending the events, and Sean took advantage of his chance to spread his name, engraving his name and nickname Puff on his business cards. According to the DJ, one party at the Masonic Temple had over 1,500 people in attendance. In 1989, after freshman year in college, he met up with his childhood friend Dwight Myers, aka Heavy D. He was like his mentor through childhood, and he was a known rapper in the scene. And that same year, 1989, Heavy would sign to the record label Uptown Records in New York City. Over summer 1989, Sean went back to New York City and linked up with Heavy D, who later introed Sean to the label owner Andre Harrell, a flamboyant black record executive who famously coined the term ghetto fabulous. The two would allegedly become very close, and that same summer, Diddy was hired as an intern for the label, all still while just being a freshman in college. He must have been doing an impeccable job, and he was swiftly promoted to an A&R executive. At just age 20, Sean was already achieving massive success in the music industry. No one really knew how. By autumn 1992, after the signing of his latest label talent, the notorious B.I.G., the debut album Ready to Die was due for release, but Uptown's parent company was apparently refusing to release it, saying that the lyrics were far too vulgar. Both Diddy and Biggie were upset and voiced their frustrations, leading Diddy to be fired from Uptown in late 1992. This led Diddy to move into the next year, forming his own record label, the now infamous Bad Boy Entertainment. Diddy had begun building a very impressive lineup at Bad Boy, and in September 1994, the label finally released Biggie's Ready to Die. Ready to Die resonated with hip-hop fans instantly, and is considered to be one of the great classic rap albums in history, even scoring perfect reviews by some of music's most respected media outlets. Bad Boy continued their massive success throughout the 90s, becoming one of the biggest labels in rap, curating a vast catalogue of hits and respected albums, with a massive artists
Tupac had like
Mac,
3 better
Biggie
albums
Smalls,
or something
Lil' Kim,
like that.
The Lox, and many more. And this momentum carried over into the new millennium, cementing Diddy as one of the biggest media moguls the rap game ever
Nas
saw.
was better
and
than
as a celebrity
Biggie.
and budding New York socialite.
There was many
Diddy's
East Coast
profile would
rappers that
continue to
were
grow
better
as
than
he broke
Biggie.
into the A-list
Gangstar,
echelon. Diddy got into
Nas.
high-profile
They
relationships.
always want to say Biggie for some fucking reason because they think the idea of a man named Notorious B.I.G. is funnies. So he stood out to white people. So then all these dumb white people said that Biggie was the best rapper on the motherfucking East Coast because he got shot. Nah, it's Nas. It's always been Nas. It's always been Nas the entire fucking time. It's never been anybody else. It's always been Nas. Nas was the best thing out of the motherfucking East Coast. Better than like a lot of other people. Akon. Better than I don't even know if Akon was East Coast. Is Akon East Coast? I think he went west, but I think he was East. But no, Nas was the premier East Coast rapper. He absolutely was. And there's a couple of others that I thought had as much skill, like Gangstar, Black Star, Talib Kweli, Mos Def, KRS-One. Although he might be West Coast, I can't remember. I can't keep it all straight. It's difficult. But KRS-One is West Coast, I think, actually. I can't remember all of it, but yeah, like I got brain damage. But yeah, East Coast, and even then there was still others. Like the Fugees. The Fugees was better. They for some reason, white people came in. I remember when it happened. And Tupac was East Coast. He was for a long time before he went West Coast and did West Coast Love or California Love. I mean, but Tupac started East Coast and he's better. There were so many better rappers than Biggie, and they say the Biggie wrote like the best fucking like classic rap album of all motherfucking time. Nope, that is motherfucking Nas. It was written. Best East Coast album of all time. It was written. Right after that would be, well, it's hard, but I would say probably Black Star. Black Star. And I can't remember the name of the album right now. Is it Respiration, I think? I can't remember the names. But yeah, I think it's Respiration, something like that. And that was the second one. And then the third one would have been Fugees' The Score. And then the fourth one would have been Wyclef Jean, Carnival. And then fifth would have been Tupac. I mean, I guess you would say its greatest hits would be the easiest thing to say, but it's more like God damn it, what's the name of the fucking album? Well, to me it's greatest hits, but I mean, like, yeah, like greatest hits is going to be for these days it's greatest hits, but he had a lot of really good albums. All Eyes on Me, maybe. Picture Me Rollin'. I mean, there's so many fucking amazing fucking Tupac songs and albums and stuff. Tupac was the best. But no, I mean, Nas was the best. But I mean, like, because Nas is alive. Whoever's alive is the best, and that's Nas. You understand? Then right after him is the Fugees and Lauryn Hill and Wyclef Jean. Right after them is Mos Def and Talib Kweli. I know, I'm not dumb. There's many others that people would argue with me about. Like, you could say the Zulu Nation, fucking, Beats, Rhymes, and Life and all that. And I can't think of their fucking name. But yeah. Beats, Rhymes, and Life. What is it? It's, well, I'll think of it. There's a bunch of others too. There's a couple of others that weren't even from the East Coast that from that era that were better. There's and the best classic rap album of all time is probably Dr. Dre's The Chronic. I would say.
With Jennifer Lopez.
I play it like once a year or something like that. That's a great album.
Flaunting his new bay and his success on the red carpet at the 2000 Grammy Awards. By the start of the new millennium, Diddy had truly made it, but interestingly, as Diddy had reached the top...
Now, I've never been here somehow. I've never been to this Brightwood place. I don't understand how that's possible, but... Or maybe I have, and it's just not letting me warp here because I'm here. Yeah, I guess that is what it is. So, did I do this race? Oh, Iron Rose Tour. Complete each course. Okay. So now I've got to do the Smuggler's Ring Circuit is what they want. So the next one is this one. It's Iron Rose Tour. Driver's Buff Rally or something like that. So yeah, I did successfully finish that quest, I think. Which is good. No, I don't think I have been here. I haven't been to that warp. I need to go to it. So that's good, I guess. I have some old weird purple quest, but I'm orange faction. Don't really understand why I have a purple quest. It's like I've avoided it, but I guess I'll go take a look at that real quick. Where is this warp or whatever? What the fuck? Where is this? Oh, here we go. I mean, yeah, it is cooler. It's different, definitely. Oh, there's a fishing hole. Go to that, I guess. But I am trying to do this purple quest since I'm over here. I'm just going to get it out of the way because that's been in my log a long time.
Living the high life as perhaps hip-hop's first true mogul, but unfortunately, in the shadowy gutter of New York's rap scene, a young 50 Cent was grinding and facing some of the hardest situations a man could possibly face. While Diddy had found fame and fortune on the business side of the rap game in the late 90s, we also saw the emergence of another titan in the rap world. From Southside Jamaica, Queens, New York, a man named Curtis Jackson, locally known in the streets as Boo Boo before he found his 50 Cent moniker, 50 Cent was known as a menace in the streets of Queens who was very active from a young age. And
I think my main has some gear for this thief, I think, and I missed it, which is so annoying, and I've got to go check. Because I believe I had a dagger, and I didn't find it. And that means that I think my main's got gear stashed away that I've got to go dig up. It's so annoying.
Was known as the boss of his 134 Guy Brewer block. But 50 Cent had bigger dreams than just running his block, and eventually was looking to turn his tales of running the streets into a buzzing rap career. In 1996, 50 was introduced to the legendary Jam Master Jay from Run DMC, who helped 50 establish his sound and trained him to write raps and helped improve his ability to write hooks and form proper songs. In 1999, 50 signed a deal and would join Columbia Records ahead of the release of his debut album, Power of the Dollar. But as 1999 was wrapping up, 50 felt that there was a lack of anticipation for his upcoming debut release. So on August the 10th, 50 chose to shake up the rap game and put many of the biggest artists on notice. He released the infamous track How to Rob, which was basically a diss track on the whole music industry, including firing shots at R&B singers Bobby Brown and Keith Sweat, as well as DMX and many more. But the very first diss at the start of the song was aimed at none other than P. Diddy himself. 50 was aware that dissing the biggest label owner at the time would certainly attract eyes to his project, marking this as the first entry into this saga of beef. In the song, 50 threatens to kidnap Diddy's then partner Kim Porter and orders Diddy that he'll need to pay her ransom and dance his way to the nearest ATM, hilariously alluding to Diddy's fruity dances often seen in bad boy videos. The strategy of airing out the entire rap game and aiming for the biggest names was a genius marketing move, and the song really put 50 on the map and got his name buzzing. Just like Diddy, 50 clearly had a business-oriented mind and was sharp enough to manipulate tactics to generate buzz.
If this was a good world not ruined by lawyers and rich people and stuff, I could go play the song.
In the Next People on the Verge section in Vibe magazine. All was set for the big release of 50's debut album, but the next year, disaster struck for 50's career, as he would seemingly use the same strategy of airing people out publicly to get attention, but this time it was figures in the streets rather than the recording industry that he was exposing. His track Ghetto Quran was one of the first examples of a gangster rapper exposing other gangsters and their activities directly by name, specifically local drug lord Kenneth Supreme McGriff, with 50 rapping openly on the track that he would break down the story of the gangster running the South Side, openly saying that Supreme was the businessman and his enforcer Prince was killing people on behalf of him. The song delved in excruciating detail the sorts of cars that Supreme drove and called out members by name for snitching on people. 50 knew what he was doing, even rapping, don't be surprised of how freely he was naming serious big-time drug dealers and gangsters from his area. This song was wild, and in some people's eyes, one of the earliest examples of snitching on a record. But 50 didn't agree with this, telling Vibe magazine that everything he mentioned in the song had also been written about in books in the library and newspaper reports that had been available publicly. Now, I agree with the sentiment, and Ghetto Quran is certainly not snitching. However, 50 was actually from and living in the area that these gangsters he named ran in. This song was seen as the ultimate disrespect, specifically towards Supreme McGriff, who was mentioned in the opening lines of the song. So as a result, the streets decided that 50 Cent was a liability and would need to be taken out. On May the 24th, 2000, whilst 50 was in a car in front of his grandmother's house, a stranger approached him from behind and started shooting at close range. 50 was hit 9 times, but like a true soldier, 50 drove himself to Jamaica Hospital and survived the attack, narrowly escaping death. One bullet had knocked out a tooth, another had hit his hip, and sadly he was told that he would forever slur and limp.
I don't know if I really care to hear it now.
Obviously affect 50's ability to rap, but he didn't let it stop him. His original album, Power of the
I
Dollar,
always wondered
was
why
set
he
for
was
release
like
in July
slurry
2000, but after the shooting, 50 was dropped from the label. Luckily,
I don't like
50
50
managed
Cent.
to make a full recovery from the incident, and by 2001,
I don't think he ever made a song I liked, actually, which is annoying. But yeah, I do not like 50 Cent at all. I didn't like the name. I didn't like the motherfucking vibe. I didn't like any of it. I didn't like anything fucking 50 Cent ever did, and it's weird because he ran West Coast with Dr. Dre and all them, and he really, the white people seem to really like him, but all the suburban white people seem to really like 50 Cent. I couldn't stand those fucking cheesy ass songs when they came on, and the lyrics were dumb, and he had a weird slur, and he didn't seem to talk right, and I didn't think he had any flow at all. He basically talked through all of his songs, and I thought he was horrible. And I've always thought that. Now, I don't say that to hurt his feelings. That's just like how I feel about 50 Cent. That's fine. I'm talking about from how the records were. I don't care about his personality. He's fine as a person. You know, I'm talking about the records. They weren't too good to us. I didn't know anybody who liked 50 Cent. It was weird. Some of my friends, like, they like weird stuff. You know, I got weird fucking hipster friends and stuff. But yeah, I couldn't ever put on a 50 album. I don't think. I don't know anybody who liked him. Now, what is this? It keeps going for 2 whole minutes. Defeat the Alpha Wolf or whatever. Okay, whatever. This dumb quest. I don't really understand this. Whatever.
One, he was back in the studio writing music once again, and it appears that by this point, Diddy had actually let the previous diss aimed at him on How to Rob slide, as 50 claims that Jennifer Lopez, Diddy's girlfriend at the time, had told Diddy to use 50 Cent as a ghostwriter. And allegedly, Diddy actually took up this advice, because on the 10th of July 2001, bad boy artist G-Dep released his song Let's Get It, a posse cut featuring Black Rob and P. Diddy himself, or Puffy as he was known at the time. According to 50 Cent, he actually wrote the chorus and Diddy's verse for this track, and when assessing the hook, it definitely seems to be something that could have been produced by 50's pen.
First time I came back was because Jennifer Lopez told Puffy he should have me come back to write music with him. I came back, Puffy had a song, it used to go, make this money, take this money. Ain't no way you could take this from me. They get money, let's get it. That don't feel like 50?
Now, the following year in 2002, 50 had officially become the hottest unsigned artist in the game, and on April 26, 2002, 50 released his mixtape Guess Who's Back, taunting his ops who left him for dead. And interestingly, despite the ghostwriting lifeline Diddy had thrown to him, on track 8 entitled Get Out the Club, 50 once again disses P. Diddy, calling Diddy a trick. A pointed bar, but also perhaps a slightly subtle hint that 50 might have known some of the nasty things Diddy had to do behind the scenes to get his career going. But 50 had ultimately come up off the back of drama and making a mockery of powerful people. And in natural 50 fashion, he didn't just stop there. On August 1st, 2002, 50 Cent released the G-Unit-assisted mixtape No Mercy, No Fear.
When you're actually from the fucking streets and not pretending and being some music producer or whatever the fuck, right? Now, are you like stuck on a loop here or what? It seems to keep going. Is this it or what? Like Remaining Wolves 3? I guess I keep leaving the area or something maybe. I don't know what this is. Now there's an Alpha Wolf, but I've killed him or whatever. Now, okay, so, yep, and then go back, I guess. Okay, so go back, and then you set my thing in the wrong place, so now I've got to pretty much travel to a teleporter, which is north, and then I'll go set my teleport again. Well, now I could just take it home to Everfall because it's like I don't need to do any business in the desert any longer, really, other than farming and stuff. I was doing quite a bit of questing to get to the end of the faction quest line. And I'll have to do a lot of that when I do the fresh start too. I'll have to do so many quests when fresh start hits. It's so annoying. I've been thinking about trying to completion New World a little bit. Like follow the achievement list when I do fresh start and not even try to rush through it all of it and try to do every town and every quest in every town and turn them all in and stuff and get the gold. Because I have this feeling that there's like content that I've missed and stuff that I haven't seen, but I don't really know. Because I skipped all the quests that weren't MSQ. All of them. So, yeah.
To and bump heads, 50 speaks on the outro to the instrumental of the Bad Boy song I Need a Girl Part 2, where 50 says, "Hey Puffy, stop making those I Miss J-Lo records." For some reason, Diddy had obviously got under 50's skin, but at the time, Diddy chose not to respond or pay any of these disses any attention. Perhaps at the time, Diddy appreciated 50's Joker personality and understood that his method of virality was trying to prod the biggest names in the game. And honestly, it was working. As mentioned, 50 Cent was on fire during this time, and every label was desperately trying to sign him. And surprisingly, even after multiple public disses, Diddy himself also joined in on the bidding war. According to G-Unit member Tony Yayo, Diddy arranged a meeting with 50 to discuss a potential signing, but ultimately chose not to proceed due to 50's ongoing war in New York with Kenneth Supreme McGriff, the kingpin and founder of the notorious Supreme team, who were one of the biggest crime syndicates in New York throughout the 80s to the 2000s. I guess even Diddy was scared of those guys.
I remember the first time, and a lot of people don't know the story, that 50 went to Diddy for Bad Boy. A lot of people don't know that. We had the meeting, and it was so crazy that Diddy didn't sign him. I know that was one of the biggest mistakes of Bad Boy. You know, the Preem situation, and you know, a lot of people were scared of Preem. 50 wasn't. So it was just like, you know, I remember Diddy said this. He don't even remember. He said the 3 things people hate about rappers. He's like, yo, we can't sign you, Playboy. It's too much. He was like, it's too much drama, like, you know, with the Biggie stuff and all that. And I was just looking like, damn, this he ain't. You know what I'm saying?
But what do you mean drama with the Biggie stuff?
Because we came to Diddy. 50 came
after Biggie got killed.
That was one of the meetings that we had.
Okay.
With
what
Diddy.
year was this?
I don't know what year it was. We had meeting with Diddy. It was me and 50 there, and 50 he took the meeting out of respect. He had deals all over the table. I wasn't saying he was gonna take the deal. He might have not. But Diddy didn't want to take the deal because all the drama. But 50 was the hottest on the planet.
Okay, was How to Rob out at this point?
Nah, this is after How to Rob. This is after he got shot, and he had all the mixtape on Smash.
With some rumors circulating that Diddy and other New York City-based record labels actually blackballed 50 Cent from the industry due to the perceived danger of working with him. And another rumor had circulated that during a studio session, 50 Cent actually pulled out a gun and scared Diddy. So next, as you may know, 50 Cent ultimately chose to sign with Eminem's Shady Records in conjunction with Dr. Dre's Aftermath. And the next year,
and then Diddy left, or sorry, Fitty
which went on to become one of the most commercially successful hip.
Fitty and Diddy is hilarious. Fitty and Diddy, do you hear it? You want to know why they hate each other? Because they even bite each other's names. Fitty and Diddy. I wonder who did first. I wonder if Diddy was Diddy first or Fitty. Diddy was. I always like he was Puff Daddy for a long time. Puff Daddy was what he was with you know. Big, but then there was this point where he was like suddenly P. Diddy, and we're like, what's that about? Why does he want to be P. Diddy? Now I get it, because he was making fun of Fitty. He's like, oh, I could just take over your name too. You're P. Diddy, but I'm you know, you're Fitty, so I'll be P. Diddy. It's just sort of so dumb. These weird people and their names and all this stuff, and so I never knew it, but yeah, apparently Bad Boy was who 50 Cent wanted to rap for, but so when they didn't do it, he just went to the West Coast and joined Dr. Dre, because he did have the most buzz on the planet. I remember when he did, for some reason, all the white boys in suburbia, they got a boner for 50 Cent for some reason. I remember even the girls did. Everybody did. Everybody got a boner for 50 Cent. I was like, why? This shit sucks. And I remember, well, I know why. It was because he showed up with Dr. Dre. And so he was like the big shit back then. But I mean, his albums and his fucking tracks were kind of dumb and silly. Go shorty, it's your birthday, and all this stupid shit. And it's like Durner. And it was like the same 2 notes over and over again. Durner, Durner. No. It's like this, and it's like such a simple song and all that. And that was a Dr. Dre song. It sounded okay, but I didn't like it. I don't like that song. I still don't like that fucking song. And I didn't think it fit fucking the West Coast at all. And I didn't think it fit Dr. Dre at all. And I didn't think 50 Cent fit fucking Aftermath. And I'm sorry, I know all this stuff is just my opinion or whatever, but I didn't, you know, and I'm not trying to be a hater. Like, whatever, 50 Cent is great. But I don't, like, you know, but I've never liked his music, and I don't think he belonged with Dr. Dre at all. And that music that Dr. Dre gave him was okay, but I think it's Dr. Dre's worst work, though. Even his own weird solo stuff on Aftermath and stuff was still better. Like, I've Been There, Done That and all that. Been There, Done That was better than anything 50 Cent ever cut. Way, way better.
Hip-hop
But
album.
that was in a weird era where Dr. J was doing stuff on the side kind of in the lab. And I followed Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre was like my favorite for a long time. Dr. Dre was my fucking big like favorite rapper. He was like my favorite rapper for a long time. You know? Particularly because he was a DJ, but he was also a really good rapper.
Albums of all time, selling over 800,000 units in its first week, debuting at #1 and going down as a modern-day classic rap album at the time. And 50 went on to become a legendary figure in the rap game.
I hated that album though, and I was like, why? And everybody's like, why don't you like 50? And I'm like, I don't know. I've never liked 50 Cent. I like Puff Daddy way less. I did not like Notorious B.I.G. There was like one song on a Bone Thugs album that I could stand, but I can't stand Notorious B.I.G. and that's fucking weird for most rap people. But I don't like Big at all. I didn't like his flows. I didn't like what he talked about. Like, I don't know. I think he was particularly violent, and I don't know. I'm just not the really biggest fan of Notorious B.I.G., but all these white people were like, Biggie's the best rapper that ever lived. And I was like, no. You're thinking of Tupac or Nas or Dr. Dre. The fuck are you talking about? And it's still been like that. And those guys have always outsold Notorious B.I.G. They've always outsold them. All three of those guys, even Eminem outsold, like, fucking Biggie. Biggie had like 3 albums and they weren't that big. They were later when suburban rap picked him up, like 7 years after Juicy or something like that. But I got into Biggie when Juicy came out, and I liked Juicy because that seemed like a good song because he was upbeat and positive in it. All the rest of it, his fucking music was basically about weird gangster situations where they were going to kill each other, That was like almost all the rest of his music. Or he was doing sellout stuff for the club. Like, I like it when they call me Big Papa. I like that song a lot, actually. I like that song a lot. Biggie did have about 3 or 4 songs that I did like, and I do jam in the club or whatever, and I'll put on karaoke. But I mean, I wasn't a Biggie fan. I didn't like those albums, and I know every word he ever did. And my friends incessantly played him, and I was like, I don't like Biggie. It's something about the voice. It's too deep. And the subject content was too dark. Say what you want about Tupac, but there was always this sense of playfulness to it. Where he was like, yeah, I'm talking about thug ass shit, but there's still always jokes and laughter. And even in the diss tracks, it was funny. He was like, haha, that's why I fucked your wife, you bitch. And the minute that he said that, I didn't ever like Biggie ever again. The minute that Pac was like, yeah, that's why I fucked your wife. You know what I'm saying? I was like, Jesus Christ, that's the most angry motherfucking thing I've ever heard. And it was just like fucked up, and you could tell Pac fucking did not like Biggie anymore. And so I was like, well, Pac is the one that changed my life. So and I remember all of this, and this is when rap got bad, in my opinion. When the onset of 50 Cent was when rap got bad, in my opinion, and it stayed bad. It's not gotten good again. Now that's not true. I'm sorry. Since that era, Southern rap was good. I will not diss. A lot of people like Nelly, and I don't like Nelly, but I think Nelly was actually extremely influential on the scene, and I don't mind his music. I've never minded Nelly. He had some bona fide bangers. Whatever. It's Getting Hot in Here is the earworm that they punished us with for like 10 years, and I hated that fucking song, and I hated Nelly by the end of it. I was like, that song is a fucking earworm nightmare. I'm sure Nelly hated it. And like fucking, and that was the only song they played. But he had other good dope ass songs, like If You Want to Take a Ride with Me, Smoke a Blunt in the Back of the Benzie, oh why must I feel this way? Hey, must be the money. If you want to go take a ride with me, and that whole Saint thing he was doing, that Saint album he did, I can't remember the name of it, was really good, and it changed the South. And out of that, we got Yellow Wolf and people like Paul Wall that I don't really respect as much, or Jelly Roll, or all these other fucking people and stuff. Like the big one for me was actually Rehab and Yellow Wolf were really big fucking rappers, and I believe there was a renaissance there for a little bit with Yellow Wolf cut like right at the end of Trunk Music. Trunk Music Returns is my favorite rap album of all time, and it definitely hits. It's my favorite drum experiment album of all time. It stretches like 5 or 6 different genres, and I want to write an album like that because it's like nobody wrote an album like Trunk Music Returns. There's not an album in rap that's like Trunk Music. There is an album in rap that's like Trunk Music Returns, and it's Deltron 3030. But that's, I would say that like the only concept album that I can think of in rap that was almost like a rap opera or something like that was Trunk Music Returns, and that album hits hard for the trap boys too. You can play it in a gang full of fucking gangbangers and shit, and they're not gonna mind it. That album's fucking hard. It hits fucking hard. It comes on kind of white boy and a little bit silly, but it's still dirty South, really dirty South, and there's all kinds of crazy people on it, like Paul Wall and MJG and fucking all these nuts. Yeah. I think even CeeLo's on that album, if I remember. There's so many fucking crazy Southern people, and CeeLo was really good, and so was Goody Mob. And then the other Southern crazy rappers that came out of the South specifically because of people like Nelly and stuff like that are Outkast. And so Outkast was also my other favorite fucking really big rappers. And between Outkast and Yellow Wolf and Dr. Dre, I was a very happy person. And Nas, right? Because to me, like, Nas represents the East Coast. Yellow Wolf, it represents the South. And like kind of like in the Midwest, and then there's Marshall Mathers. I was a really big Marshall Mathers fan, or not Marshall Mathers, but Slim Shady fan. I like Slim Shady, but I don't like Marshall Mathers at all. Frankly, all the Marshall Mathers song, you can tell he's got a split personality in there. One is the bomb MC that's gonna kick your fucking ass in a competition. The other one is the sellout pop star. And that's Marshall Mathers, right? Slim Shady is the bomb MC that'll slaughter you. And ironically, Marshall Mathers cut 8 Mile. And 8 Mile doesn't have a bit of Slim Shady in it. There's not a single Slim Shady lyric in all of 8 Mile. And when you understand that, you understand Slim Shady. Slim Shady's actually got borderline personality, I guarantee it. Now, he doesn't in his real life, but he does in his MC fucking career and shit. He does. He's got borderline personality. He's got 2 MCs. He's got 2 MCs in there. And he'll tell you himself. One is the fucking, the bomb fucking MC coming through the portal, the rap god. The other one is fucking Lose Yourself, and I can't stand Lose Yourself or anything having to do with 8 Mile or anything having to do with Marshall Mathers pop music that they played on KTCL when it should have been on 107.5, you know. And so I'm a huge Eminem fan. I know everything he's ever written, even the old fucking albums and stuff like fucking, I forget the name of the albums, but yeah, it's the oldest album where he talks about us banging your fucking balls with a spiked baseball bat and shit like that he couldn't have ever pulled off when he was Marshall Mathers, you know. But anyways, and so like the Midwest for me is of course Slim Shady, but then the West Coast was Dr. Dre. And between those 5, I was happy for 30 years and still am. They cut enough albums that I'm happy with. I don't really care, like, you know. And then and there's a whole bunch more too. Like my favorite rapper of all time was Gangstar. But Gangstar only cut really one album that I would call commercially totally acceptable in like the Midwest white boy scene, which is where I come from. And that's Moment of Truth, which is my favorite rap album of all time, short of course, Trump Music Returns. It's like a tie. It's hard to say. And Deltron 3030.
Game. Within just a couple of short...
Which, by the way, I can do from start to finish all the way through. I can rap the entirety of Deltron 3030 every word, like no problem. That shit was like such a monumental fucking album. I think a lot of fucking hipsters would say Deltron 3030 really kind of changed the entire game. And I think I would say too... It comes down to it. It's kind of like that. Deltron 3030 is like the best album ever written, maybe. Because it's a concept album where he imagines that he's a robot rapper in the motherfucking future, past the dystopian fallout and everything. But the concepts on the album are fucking dope, and some of the best lyrics I've ever heard written, and some of the music is like fucking classic jazz and stuff, and it's so good. And like fucking and Deltron 3030 I think actually gets the crown for the best rap album of all time. But it's a concept rap opera album. I don't think he himself would say that it's the best rap album of all time. I think he would probably say Grandmaster Flash. And I think Grandmaster Flash is a contender too. It's fun to talk about rappers. I know almost all of them, and everything all of them they've ever done. I love the rap scene, everything that motherfucking came out of it. Like lately, I've been big on Mobb Deep. I didn't really know how fucking good Mobb Deep actually was.
Years, 50 had risen to the top of the...
Like I can't do Mobb Deep on my fucking channel or E40, and I love E40. I used to bang E40 all the motherfucking day. I was an E40 fanatic. You understand me? I love E40, and white people can't do E40. It's too hard and too black. I don't know. I wouldn't call myself a white man. Not really. You know what I'm saying? Like, not really. Not where I come from. Not really, no. I got white skin. I'm a white man. But I wouldn't really say I've got white proclivities or anything like that. Not at all. And so, I love E40. But I don't think I could play it on my channel. It's too hard. It'll turn everybody off. They'll get off the channel immediately. Like, most of E40 is far too hard for white culture. And I came up on E40. You understand? I came up on E40 and fucking, like, Dr. Dre and like Coolio. Coolio was far too hard for the radio, but it's weird because he was like the most commercial rapper. It shows you his range.
Rap game.
He was a joke rapper in many ways. I think he himself would tell you that after Gangster's Paradise and stuff. I mean, he thought it was serious, and he didn't like people mocking him, and somebody did mock him. Weird Al Yankovic did mock Gangster's Paradise relentlessly. He totally did, and he ratioed it too. He ratioed, like, he literally, the first ratio in history was actually Weird Al Yankovic was the first ratio person. He would take other people's music and make them more famous than the original music was, like a surgeon, stuff like that, like a surgeon, or Amish Paradise and all that. And so like ratio has been happening forever. It's kind of insane, and I felt like that's kind of what 50 Cent did. He kind of ratioed fucking Dr. Dre. And they brought him to the West Coast, but he wasn't a West Coast rapper. He was like an East Coast fucking thug. He wasn't even an East Coast rapper, really. He was an East Coast thug. And I don't know, I guess they got him a ghostwriter or something like that. And they were like, all right, you're just going to be famous now because you have all the world's interest for some reason, because you dissed everybody. And I mean, that seems really weird.
Diddy did. And while Diddy was chasing mogul status, and at the time 50 was still focused on being an artist,
he wasn't chasing it, he was succeeding. When him and Mace came out in front of the fucking Lambo with their purple and orange suits, or whatever the fuck it was, yellow or orange and red suits and shit, when him and Mace came out for it's all about the Benjamins babies, he pretty much became a mogul overnight. You could see it. It was like a transformation. It was like Satan took his fucking crown or something. It was insane. Overnight, he pretty much was. It wasn't like he was striving for it. He attained it the minute that he changed rap with the bougie bullshit and the fucking Lambo and all this. We were used to Grandmaster Flash and shit like that. Fucking House of Pain and... like we were used to like hardcore rappers that weren't really fucking around and shit. Like even Gangstar kind of qualifies like that. And then this dude comes like booping and bopping along with his weird dances and his $1 million fucking car and his fucking crappy fucking like suits that you couldn't wear anywhere but a club, and just booping and bopping along talking about money all day. And he ruined rap. He full-blown did. This fucking clown full-blown ruined rap. I remember the day it happened. It was all about the Benjamins, baby. It hit, and it was the #1 goddamn rap premiere of all goddamn time. Him and Mace bopping along in front of a goddamn Lambo. I'll never fucking forget it. I hate that fucking video. And it was like, it's all about the Benjamins, baby. And the song sounded bad because it was like a bad rendition of Stevie Wonder or something like that. It was totally totally derivative and shitty, and it wasn't done well dub-wise, and they were just talking about it's all about the Benjamins, baby. And it's like, motherfucker, nobody wants to hear this fucking worthless capitalist fucking stoogism, and the whole world wolfed it down. But I mean, the whole world doesn't have any money. Mostly the whole world mostly is like the third world. It kind of is. So it's like sort of weird to see the whole world bopping to It's All About the Benjamins, baby, because most of the known world is the third world. It is too. It's just like Africa and, you know, parts of Asia, parts of Europe, and even parts of South America and stuff like that in America. It is, and it's weird to see the whole world bopping to It's All About the Benjamins, baby, because most of the world doesn't really have any money. I hate to say that, but it is the goddamn truth. Most of the world lives very modestly in villages and stuff like that. And nobody has goddamn, It's All About the Benjamins, baby. Nobody ever talks about that stupid ass shit except fucking exorbitant, idiot, loud, crass Americans. Nobody brags like that. Brits don't brag like that. They'll show you their gold crowns and their stuff like that and their fancy churches, but they'll never be like, It's All About the Benjamins, baby. That's an American thing, bougie bragging. That's an American shitty thing. Nobody bougie brags. Now they do with cars and money and stuff and royalty and jewelry and fucking expensive clothes and shit, and they mob just like Americans do. Don't get it twisted. Even in Dubai they do. Everywhere they mob just like Americans do. Everybody in this world does. But understand, most of the rest of the world lives under the poverty line. Most of the rest of the world, something like 86% of the world or something like that, cannot afford a bus ride, much less a goddamn Lambo, and It's All About the Benjamins, baby. And that's what killed rap. It fucking straight full killed rap when they saw the success that Mason Puffy pulled with It's All About the Benjamins and all those crappy songs that he did off that one single album that ruined rap. Fucking straight up ruined rap. Like they all copied him, and they all started talking about stupid ass bougie bullshit. And about 10 years later, we had like Nicki Minaj and YMCMB talking about Young Money millionaires and stuff. And I love Lil Wayne, don't get me wrong, but it's still a vacuous fucking statement. YMCMB, young monies, and they were up there like, you know, how you gonna hate? You can't even get up in the club, and they'll diss on me. I would say Lil Wayne himself would probably like, you know, diss on me for dissing like this, right? But the difference is it's like, no, Lil Wayne never pushed vacuous fucking money and shit. He just bragged. That was it. These guys push vacuous ideals that nobody can live up to. Not even Warren Buffett. Not really. Dancing around, throwing $100 bills at people and shit. Who the fuck can do that? Maybe Warren Buffett, I guess, but he won't, because he won't have money very long if he does that. So like what ideal are we pushing here? To just throw money at fucking like strippers and stuff? Come on, man. I love rap, but it got really fucking dry when this asshole took over. It was like 2004 or something like that was the last time rap was good. I mean, not the last time, because there was like Outkast and fucking Yellow Wolf and all these other newer artists like fucking Slim Shady and stuff. It was good. Yellow Wolf and all these other people. But like, you know, or some could argue there's even a whole bunch of other crews that are new that are really good, like Ritz or and especially Tech Nine. But like, you know, and especially Tech Nine and everybody on that label, Brother Lynch Hung and fucking, you know, I would say Cess Crew's like the best crew that I've heard out of recent times, really. Cess Crew's album Constant Energy Struggles, I think, was the best modern rap album. I think it really is. It's the whole album fucking slaps, and it's the best rhythm and the hardest I've ever heard a rap set. Like and they're a complicated technical duo, and they're fucking amazing. Like Binary Star, they're right up there with Binary Star. Nobody's technical duo like Binary Star except Cess Crew. I can't think of another crew like that. What's a duo that's got that Binary Star? I can't even fucking think of it. Binary Star was a living god band to me. There's nobody like Binary Star. They were out of Chicago and shit. They weren't famous, but I mean, they're like the number one top duo. Fucking MCs fucking slayed that shit. They had the greatest album of all time in terms of the EDM fucking trap scene, which was like Masters of the Universe. And yeah, like you know what I'm saying? Even Binary Star didn't really stand up to fucking like Outkast, I would say. Nobody really had a duo as good as like Outkast, really. Or Cess Crew. Maybe Outkast and Cess Crew, you know, that's it. Those are like the only two I can think of beyond those. So it's, you know, like I think about all these rappers and all these problems and stuff, but I love this music and I bought every single one of these fuckers albums except for this guy. You know what I'm saying? The ones that I really hate, I didn't buy 50 Cent or him. I didn't buy 50 or him because they were both biters and they both got elevated by other. I know that Mace was an actual rapper. Puff Daddy is a producer. There's a difference. He cut like one of the greatest rap albums of all time. And he's a producer, and he's a good producer, and I'll not be a hater to him or whatever in terms of his music or whatever, because people loved his fucking music, and whatever sells is whatever sells. You can't argue with the motherfucking streets, and he knows it. But understand, Mace was the motherfucking talent. Everybody else around him was the talent. The Notorious B.I.G., all these other people around him was the motherfucking talent. It was never Diddy, and I don't think Fiddy was any different. You know, I'm sorry, but I don't. It's funny to see Fiddy and Diddy go. Fiddy and Diddy, you hear it? You hear Fiddy and Diddy go at each other? It's actually so dumb. This is how clown these people are. So when they have their little Hatfield and McCoy rap bash or whatever, their stupid ass fucking tiffs, their little rap bitch tiffs, you know, they're like little girls. That's literally what fucking Slim Shady called fucking Limp Bizkit and his little tiff with Eminem or whatever the fuck. He was like, he literally cut a song on a fucking I think it was a D12 album. It was like, y'all are some girls. Y'all are some fucking girls. These guys acted like fucking girls. They were up there primping like girls with fucking fancy suits and shit and Lamborghinis and shit. Like, I'm sorry, but that is not what gangster rap is. That is not what gangster rap is. It's not fancy clothes and Lambos and shit. I'm terribly sorry. It is not. It's always been Grandmaster Flash and the motherfucking Message. It's always been the message. Gangster rap has always been the fucking message. Now you can talk about hoes and fucking money and dope if you want. There's no problem. There's no limit. Like, just like MMOs. MMOs are the last bastion of free speech. So is rap. Rap is like the last bastion of free speech. You can say whatever the fuck you want. You know what I'm saying? They used to drop the F-bombs on every album. And by F-bomb, I mean like homophobic slur. Like on every rap album that I can think of, they dropped a homophobic slur. It sucks, but it's true. Like, they don't care. They can say whatever the fuck they want. It's one of the reasons why I really loved the industry so much. No matter who it was, really, except for these tools that ruined it. And I was kind of a hater to some artists. I was like, nah, man, you're ruining rap. I thought Britney Spears was ruining pop. You know, I like Britney Spears is the sad part too, but I mean, there's a lot of other pop artists that I like more than her, you know. I thought that song "Be Beautiful" by Christina Aguilera was musically more powerful and better than all of Britney Spears' music combined. And I know that's harmful to her to say that, and I'm not a pop person. Well, I am a pop person, kind of. I've listened to pop all my goddamn life, but the amount of hype around Britney Spears was fucking crazy because those songs weren't that good. They were good for the backyard fucking middle class crowd and all that, but the songs aren't that high quality. They're kind of lo-fi fucking pop songs. They're kind of bass and sort of dynamic. It sucks a little bit, you know. It didn't have subtlety like Beautiful or whatever. It didn't have like violins or anything. There's, you know.
Ultimately, it would be hard to imagine.
I'll talk shit all over the fucking known musical world. I used to do this when I was a tweaker. I would get my music friends together and we would just start spinning through fucking albums, talking about genres and eras and stuff, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, gangster rap, doesn't matter what the fuck it is. Fucking Binary Star. I haven't even thought about Binary Star in fucking a long time, but I played their album last year. I played Masters of the Universe on my stream last year because people need to hear Masters of the Universe. That's the greatest MC duo of all goddamn time. Without them, we wouldn't have had rap pretty much. Without Binary Star, we wouldn't have had real rap. They took the rap off the motherfucking streets that was being done by the trap boys in Chicago and shit, and they pretty much brought trap to the fore. Like, without them, we wouldn't have had fucking like some EDM and rap and stuff. Without them, we wouldn't have had like Slim Shady or anything like that. Without Binary Star, we would have been fucked, and nobody even knows who the fuck they are. I mean, the real people do. The real producers and stuff do. They know who Binary Star is. I know who they are. But most people don't know who Binary Star is, and that's weird because they're like pushing people like 50 Cent and fucking Eminem. But if they were really skilled, they would push Binary Star, and they wouldn't need to push people like 50 Cent. You know, or Marshall Mathers. They wouldn't need to push the Marshall Mathers side of Slim Shady. You know what I'm saying? I always think of him as Slim Shady, but the world thinks of him as Marshall Mathers. I think of him as Slim Shady because we were raised on Slim Shady. There was no Slim Shady. I'm sorry, there was no Marshall Mathers songs out of Slim Shady until the third album, or no, fourth until the fourth album or something like that. Until that, he was Slim Shady, and that's where I get my name from. I hop up out of that motherfucking cloud, and my eyes are so fucking slanted, and it's like, you know, and I'm just Slim Shady. You can't see me. I disappear in the smoke and all that shit, and that's where I get my name from and all that stuff. Because it's, you know, but there was no Marshall Mathers lose yourself in the moment shit. It was like he was a wreckful MC. And he stepped proper with I just don't give a fuck and stuff like that off of his second album, and the one that Dr. Dre brought him in on, and that album there wasn't a hint of Marshall Mathers on it, not a single lyric, not a single fucking bit of Marshall Mathers or Lose Yourself or 8 Mile or anything like that. It was entirely Slim Shady for the stoner fucking like drugged out drug addict kids coming from the motherfucking ghettos with divorced parents and problems and depression and poverty and shit. And there was no Marshall Mathers anywhere near Eminem for the first like 4 albums or something like that. And then we got the first Marshall Mathers song, which was 2 trailer park girls go around the outside, around the outside, around the outside. You know, and that was when the whole world took notice of him. And we've been cursed with more bad Marshall Mathers songs on the radio since then. But real Slim Shady, you can't play on the radio. There's more cussing in it than I think anybody else, you know? You can't play real Slim Shady on the motherfucking radio. You can't.
Such enormous.
Or there's all kinds of talk about rape and stuff like that. Real Slim Shady is really hard, and you can't play it on the radio. He used to talk about it all the time. He's like, the minute they started putting me on the radio, I had to like, what do you think I'm gonna change the lyrics for you idiots? Nah, but you know, it's like, oh, he's talking about, you know, raping his own mother, and we gave him the cover of the Rolling Stone cover. That was one of his lyrics. You know, yeah, that's goddamn right, bitch. Was the next lyric. He's like, you goddamn right, bitch. And tragedies happen in 2 states and all this shit. It's so fucked up. Like all the shit he used to say. They can't play that on the fucking radio, and that's the actual gangster rap. You can't play gangster rap on the radio. The Message was special because you could play the Message on the radio because he censored it so the message would get out. I love Grandmaster Flash. Always have. I thought he was the greatest rapper ever born, you know? But you know, but you know, so you can play the Message on the radio, and they still do, but like real gangster rap you can't play on the radio, and that's what I really fucking loved about it.
Characters.
You know? I like music that you can't play on the motherfucking radio because it's either just not universally accepted, and even though it sounds really good, or it's just can't be universally accepted because the censors flag it. One or the other.
Personalities coexisting in the cutthroat world of the NYC.
What's the nastiest album that I can think of? That's got to be Pet Shop Boys, I think. I wanna fuck you in the ass. I wanna fuck you in the ass. I wanna fuck you in the ass. Fucking Pet Shop Boys, man.
But surely, behind the scenes,
what the fuck?
and Diddy's animosity would be growing. And while at times they would be friends, collaborators, or perhaps frenemies,
that was like the full-blown song. That was the like the hook. I mean, I sang it. I'm not gonna do it again. I sang the hook. That was the hook to that fucking song. That's the hook to that song. Pet Shop Boys were also on another level. You can't play them on the radio either. That's real gangster rap, but it was a different kind of rap. That rap was about fucking. Whether you were a man or a woman, it didn't matter. That rap was entirely about fucking and only fucking. That was an era of rap that we don't remember that well. My Anaconda don't want none unless you got buns, hon. We remember it, but we don't really remember how raunchy it got. Pet Shop Boys is a good example, but yeah, there were for a while there from like 1986 until about 93 or some such. You could say whatever the fuck you wanted to say about sex, and they did. They were like, I wanna fuck you in the ass, and then like now that song can't ever go on the radio. Of course, it can't ever go on the radio, but that didn't change that didn't stop them from getting popular at all.
Them eventually becoming bitter rivals, setting the stage for 50
at all.
To contend with Diddy in the mogul rankings and patiently waiting over 2 decades.
Probably the most well-written rap song of all time is "I Got 5 on It." And like, honestly, I Got Five On It can't be played on the radio in any way or form. I swear to God, I Got Five On It, which is a really good example of real good gangster rap. That's loonies. Like you know, they do play I Got Five On It on the radio all the time because we're all like stoners now. But around, you got to remember, I came up around like 1996 to about like 2000 and like, you know, like 16 before I was like really a true like adult male doing adult things and stuff. So I did all the gangster rap and all the stupid shit back then. And you got to remember, like back then you couldn't do music like that on the radio. You really couldn't. You know, but now you can't. Well, no, you still can't. You still can't do stuff like that on the radio. But they that didn't stop them from cutting the albums. And there is some raunchy fucking butt rap out there talking about full blown like porn fucking and stuff. And if you don't know it, but there's a whole bunch of fucking bands in that whole thing. Most of them were full blown like full blown homosexual, open about it. They were just like bisexual and were open about it and all this. And that was an element of rap that a lot of people don't talk about. The Pet Shop era, where they were just like talking about fucking on stage, and that's what happened too. They would go throw a concert and shit, and the women would get up on stage and just start fucking them on stage. I've seen it before. There was a raunchy side of rap that people don't even remember existed, but there was a time when they didn't really censor any of it, and I really miss it too. I came up on a harder culture.
To eventually claim
this fucking
Diddy's
plastic fantastic streaming bullshit where they censor everything and, you know, and all the ads like inundate everything and all that. That's not really how my reality was for a while.
Yeah.
You know, like kind of. That's like kind of a newer thing for me. Censorship. Okay, when I went to Britain, I was 15 years old when I went, and I'll never forget this story. It's one of my favorite stories. My best friend and I, we decided to take, like, you know, we're going to be roommates so we can drink and smoke weed together. And we get to the first motel room on the first day of the Camelot tour, where all 65 of the people in my high school, my entire high school, went to London for 3 weeks. Because we only had about 65 people in the school, so everybody went. And so it was crazy. And so the first day, we get into the fucking motel room, and I'll never forget it. And so Sen turns on the TV, and Sen turns on the TV, and there's Jerry Hollowell, Ginger Spice, right? One of the Spice Girls, and her tits are the first thing we see. The first thing we ever saw on British television was Jerry Hollowell's tits. I swear, God is my witness. He probably loved telling. I wish he was here to hear me tell this story right now. But yeah, Jerry Hollowell was the first time I ever saw tits on television that wasn't like porn on pay-per-view or something like that. It was on national television in Britain, in London, and we were like 15 years old, and we sit down in front of the television. He turns on like local TV. He's looking for PBS, but Britain, right? He's looking for BBC. He switches on the BBC, national BBC. I'm talking like international BBC. He turns on international BBC, and the first image that they flash is Jerry Hollowell's tits. And I'll never forget it because I had her Playboy. I was such a big fucking fan of Ginger Spice. I had such a bad crush on her. I was like, oh my God, I have a weakness for redheads. She's so fucking hot. She's my type. I have a weakness for her. I so do. And I'd seen her naked before, but I'd never seen her naked on television. And you understand, this is a Spice Girl. That's like seeing Britney Spears naked on Channel 7 ABC in the middle of Dallas, Fort Worth or something like that at 9:30 it was like 9:30 in the morning, and I'll never forget it. I was like, oh, Spice Girls breasts, I'm okay, and we're both of our jaws drop. He turns on the television, and there's a pair of tits right there hanging out for about 10 seconds. It was just hanging out, and there's Jerry Hollowell's Playboy shots like right there in front of us. I'll never forget it. And I was like, oh my God, the Brits have it so much better than us. We are such a sexually repressed fucking culture. We are so repressed. And I did learn as I went to both London and Paris that no, we are a fairly taboo, fairly repressed sexual culture. And the rest of the world is just not like that. I wouldn't say Japan or Asia or China is like that, or Indonesia or any of them. I wouldn't say Europe's like that. I wouldn't say Britain is like that. I wouldn't say that Paris is like that. I wouldn't say that France or Germany or anybody is, especially not Germany. No. Hamburg's very famous for not being like that. Like, you know, that's where the Beatles grew up. Like, understand, like, you know, so understand, but America's taboo. You would never, ever, not once in America see Britney Spears tits or the you know, there's really no difference. I'm just trying to translate to an American equivalent of how big the Spice Girls were back then. You would never ever you, like, trust me, the TV executives will die first. You will never ever see Britney Spears tits on Channel 7 ABC in the middle of New York City at 9:30 in the morning. That will never fucking happen. The nuclear war will happen first. We are a fucking sexually repressed culture in such a major way. And I brought up that whole rap culture thing. So look into the Pet Shop Boys sometimes. That was when the rap culture pretty much tried to change things about how sexually repressed we actually are in this culture. And you might think that we're a bunch of man whores that go out like Madonna and show our cone tits and stuff. But no, we're the repressed culture, actually. We are extremely repressed compared to other cultures. Their kids see nudity by the age of, like, I don't know, like 8 or 9 or something like that. Not like grown adult stuff, but, like, you know, but they're like in public baths and stuff like that. They have an entirely different culture. They don't view nudity as evil or anything like that. They don't think sex is evil too. Now Britain is slightly repressed, but they're not that bad. France is not, and neither is Germany. And there's a whole bunch of other people like that are not, like Netherlands. There's not like other. Like, there's, you know, so and I think about it all the time. We are an extremely sexually repressed culture. And while I don't really want that to end, because I believe it actually preserves a bit of innocence in the kids of America, as well as the people of America, I think we're actually fairly innocent kids that don't really know what sex is in terms of the world stage. I say we're basically like 19 years old or something, and we have the whole world's eyes because we have control and money and all this stuff, but we've not been around that long. We're very young, and we're virile, and we're young, and we have money and all this, but we don't really know what sex is, and we're scared of it. It's actually kind of crazy. Americans have been very taboo about sex, you know, the whole time that we've ever been around. Now, lately it's gotten much better, and I don't really want it like smeared across our television screens or anything like that. But I think it's shame. I think the culture still shames women when they have sex, you know, on a casual level. I think the culture still calls women sluts. And I really don't think that's acceptable. Some of the sexism is really unacceptable on a world scale because we're like the only ones doing it. Like, nobody is really as repressed as us, I don't think. And it's sort of crazy. We're actually like sort of repressed. We still have Christians here that believe that sex is evil. And when you poop, that's concentrated evil coming out of the back of you. You know, we literally do. We still have that, and some countries have that too. But like, I mean, like, but it's not that common. Not really in the world stage. In the world stage, I think we're fairly prude. We're actually like kind of prude and stuff. And I learned that when I was like 15 years old, when the first thing I saw on international fucking BBC television was the Ginger Spice's tits. And I was like, oh, the Brits don't care about this? And I believe they flashed a whole bunch of more tits too. Like, they don't care about that. They've never been fucking repressed by these weird 50s culture people that want to bring back some kind of fucking right-wing Fallout fucking Norman Rockwell fucking ideal where we're all sitting at diners in piece of crap fucking cotton clothing that all looks the same drab color and stuff, and we don't talk about sex, and the only thing we think about is God or whatever. And I'm sorry, but no, that is not, I mean, I'm sorry, that's who we are. That's still who we are, kind of. I mean, not really. We also have Uvalde, Texas, so that's not really who we are anymore, no. But I mean, like, it's, you know, but it's still a part of our identity. You can't really just, you know, you can't really just cut loose sexually in this culture. They will call you like a sex offender, essentially. It's sort of crazy. Not with children is what I'm talking about. Not anything to do with children. I'm talking about if you show your tits in public, like Jerry Halliwell's tits were shown on BBC like that, like fucking in this culture, you will be canceled and reviled and called a slut and all types of other fucking names and stuff. But that wouldn't happen anywhere else in the world, I don't think, except for like maybe the Middle East, We have about the same exact fucking like almost taboo fear of sexuality that the Middle East has because of like, you know, and I don't even want to speak on them without, I'll just sound racist. That's it. I'll just say the Middle East. That's it. I would say the Middle East is repressed sexually because obviously because they're scared of their women showing their faces essentially. And then while that is terrible and xenophobic what I just said, and it's not true of entirely all of their cultures at all, and it's not fair what I just said is sexist, and I don't like it, and I'm not trying to take a cheap shot at their culture or anything like that, but I mean it is true. The women are completely repressed, and mankind are sexual beings. It's not a good desire to wish to suppress it unless there's children involved. It's not a good desire. There's 7 billion people on this planet, and we're all sexual creatures, pretty much, almost all of us, except for the children, thank God. And like honestly, if as long as children are not involved, I don't know. We are all kind of sexual creatures. It's sort of dumb to resist it, in my opinion. But America does. America resists it so badly. And we shame people, and we call people sluts, and we shame them for their promiscuity and all this stuff. And I've just never understood it, man. That shame, that's a weird American thing that I just don't think is a normal cultural thing in most cultures. Even in African villages, sex is not shunned as this shameful thing. No, you know, like pygmy villages and stuff like this. It's not shamed as this thing. Even people that still live in mud huts and such, they do not repress themselves sexually. That's something that Americans do. It's something that we thought was good because of some weird Christian ideals from the 50s or something. But no, almost no culture in history actually does that. It's actually crazy. It's weird. We're like a weird outlier, but we're also like the most successful, biggest country. It's sort of odd that it happened at the same time because we have this huge like taboo influence on the entire world. But I mean, we still sell sex in everything that we do. I mean, I don't really understand that weird like Christian right-wing ideal to suppress it. I've never understood it. That's not how anybody else is. I mean, I guess Christians around the Vatican are like that.
Over the next few years,
some Christians in Europe are like that. It is true. It is not totally an American thing at all. Whole world does it. But I don't know. But the taboo, I think it could go. I think it would be nice if the Pope were to admit that we're sexual beings that are going to sodomize each other. For instance, if by sodomize, I don't just mean butt stuff. I mean, any orifice. I'll just be general.
Diddy and 50's beef went quiet, likely due to all the success on both sides. But behind the scenes,
fuck it, call it your ear.
By 2003, both men were megastars in the rap game in their own rights.
Dear God, why? They both sucked. They both sucked, and they both ruined
Diddy
rap.
Ended up presenting
Diddy ruined
Diddy
ruined the East Coast, and fucking Fitty ruined the West Coast. Trust me, these are the worst two rappers in my opinion. And there they are, just fucking ruining rap. And I swear to God, Diddy ruined the East Coast. Fitty ruined the West Coast. The West Coast was not good after Fitty. There's not a single rapper out of the West Coast after Fitty. Not a single one. I can't think of a single one. Name one. Nope. Can't think of one notable rapper out of the West Coast after Fitty. Not a single one. And I can't think of one after P. Diddy either. Maybe no. Drawing a blank here. By 2004, and when these idiots got control of rap, I believe they did full-blown kill rap. They made it so dry, none of us really liked it anymore. They were just club bangers. Rap hasn't spoken to us since 2004, and I'll tell you why. It's because these idiots got control of the game, but they didn't have the talent. They did not have the talent, not at all. They were not Dr. Dre and fucking Nas. They were not.
Award show, with the winner being none other than 50 Cent for In the Club.
And the award for best rap video.
Yep, and then they're always talking about up in the club, bottle of bub with expensive clothes and liquor and hoes and all this stupid shit. And I'm like, I don't know, your weird clown rap from the club is not really what gangster rap is. I'm sorry, but it's not. A lot of you MCs, y'all act fake to me. To quote the great Gangstar, y'all act fake to me, you know? A lot of MCs act stupid to me, and we have yet to see if you can match my longevity. And that's a deeper rhyme than either of you two motherfuckers ever wrote.
Goes to Come on, play.
The underground is where I find my hell at. It's where you. I'm sorry. The underground is where I find where you find your hell at. It's where I find my heaven. You know, but I mean, like the underground is where I found my heaven, and it is. And y'all clowns that brought bougie rap to the fucking fore ruined goddamn rap, and I don't think we've had a good rapper since then. Jarris Johnson. Look at how far I have to dig. Jarris Johnson is the only modern rapper that I can fucking think of in the last 15 fucking years that is worth their fucking salt in rhymes. I don't think any of them should have sold albums. It's not 2 Chainz. It's not any of these fucking motherfuckers. It's not. I'm sorry. There has not been a good rapper out of the East or the West Coast since Fitty or Diddy. And you want to know why? Because they were all probably signing fucking non-disclosure agreements with 50 Cent instead with P. Diddy and shit instead of making good rap. I know what it is. All those parties and all that shit that ruined rap. Rap was never about partying. It was about the message and gang banging. You know what I'm saying? It's about the message and gang banging, pretty much, and the necessity for gang banging. When you've got nothing else, when you got nothing else to lose, you end up being a gang banger. I know because I've been there. And when, trust me, rap is about 2 things. It's about the message, fixing this shit, and fucking gang banging. Not clothes or shoes or fashion or anything after the Black Eyed Peas got replicated, right? It's not Promiscuous Girl or any of that stupid ass club banger shit. It's not. It's Busta Rhymes in New Order. It's not.
50 Cent and Eminem would touch.
It's not Fitty and Diddy and your clown names and your clown careers and your clown albums and your clown lyrics.
The stage, dapping up Diddy.
If these guys are alive, they could probably want to come shoot me for saying this, but I'm sorry, I don't care. Fucking like you guys were always clowns, and what you did to the fucking rap scene, I haven't forgiven you for it, and I've not even thought about it until today. But both of you clowns, what you both did to the rap scene, I haven't really forgiven you. You can hear it in my goddamn voice. I haven't really forgiven you for what you've done to the rap scene. Fuck you guys. What's wrong with you? Mount summoning speed. I don't care about mount summoning speed. I want dash speed, I guess. And you didn't seem to like that. I want you to like it. You cannot equip this item in this slot. Why? What you talking about there, Willis? Or whatever? What you talking about? Equip the damn charm. What you talking about there, buddy? You're stupid. I don't know. Oh, it's a mount shoe? Well, yeah, that's a mount shoe. That should work, right? Oh, it's a strap and a shoe. Oh, no. This is just a carbon copy of this other one? Come on. Fucking dumb. Why would you make the same fucking... whatever.
Seemingly on good vibes. However, that same year, something would happen that changed everything. Because apparently, one chance encounter between Diddy and 50 Cent had 50 feeling some type of way. Apparently, in 2003, New York music executive Chris Lighty, who was close...
Because he was the original clown, and you're the rip-off clown, and everybody said that you were good like Diddy or whatever, but you weren't. You're like you were the counterpart on the West Coast of P. Diddy. You were like the sidekick clown. And you came later to the game like Puff Daddy, you know what I'm saying? And, you guys were clowns.
To both 50 and Diddy held a star-studded
open the club with a bottle of dub, and it's like, what?
Wedding, where Lighty tied the knot with his wife Veronica. Both 50 and Diddy were in attendance. And 15 years later, whilst on an interview with The Breakfast Club, 50 revealed that Diddy had said something to him that made him uncomfortable.
He said something to me one time, a long time ago. At Chris Lighty's wedding, he told me to take me shopping. I looked at him like, what did you say?
I'll take you shopping.
Let me move, man, before
I'll take you shopping. Who says that to anything but women?
I do something, you're gonna make me mess up the wedding.
50 would also elaborate on this strange offer on his 2020 Drink Champs interview, when it was revealed that 50 and Diddy had been placed together on the same table at the wedding, and it was incredibly awkward.
He's like, I had 50, I think it's Steve Stout, and Puff at the same table? He said it was the most awkward ever, and that you was instigating some shit.
And it was at this point that Diddy made the strange comment, offering to take 50 Cent shopping and pay for everything.
Then Puff was like, first he was amping him to get Stout. Then he was like, so when we gonna get the chance to kick it, like we could just hang out. We gotta kick it. This is Puff. Okay. He telling me we gotta kick it, and he was like, why don't we like go shopping or some? I mean, like I pay for it, and I was like, what the fuck this?
You
I got the away from him because I was like, this just tell me he'd take me shopping.
Clearly, this comic had gotten under 50's skin. It's unclear if this was a misinterpreted attempt
No,
at Diddy
no,
being
it would get under my skin too. I've never had a man offer to take me shopping and pay for it unless I was starving to death on the streets and didn't have shoes or some shit. I had a friend, he bought me a pair of shoes one time for like $27 because he could see that I was going to walk around barefoot for probably the next like 4 months or something like that. I wasn't going to be able to afford shoes. And so he bought me shoes. I love my friend like that. He was a good friend. You know, he bought me a fucking pair of shoes and stuff. And he was like, I'm going to buy you a pair of shoes. He's like, I'm going to take you shopping and I'm going to pay for it. Right. But that was like out of desperation because I was a homeless crack addict on the streets who didn't have shoes. That was not the same thing as we're both rich moguls and we can afford Cristal and you want to pay for my Cristal. That's a little weird. That's a little different. I don't usually buy drinks for men unless it's like a beer at the bar during the Broncos game or something like that. I'm not buying shit for any man.
Friendly to Fiddy, or a sign of disrespect trying...
That goes against the principles, baby. They'll be paying no man. 50 Cent too, probably. If you're straight, it goes against your principles. You're not letting some man pay for you. That's something a man does for you when he's trying to show sexual interest in you, I believe. I've never had a man offer to pay for anything except for shoes when my feet were bloody, you know? That's it. Like, literally, that's it. Like, what?
To mock his fashion.
Well, I mean, I've had friends like offer to buy me food and stuff like that because we're having a meal, you know, and I'll be like, I'll get it the next round. But I've never had like a man be like, I'll take you shopping and pay for it. I've had men hit on me. And I've turned them down, but I've never had like a man offer to buy me something. That's like
or perhaps even worse, a deeply disturbing attempt at mind games.
That doesn't really work in the modern culture. Most, you know, that doesn't really work
in a subordinate position.
Let me get out. No, dude, you take me. That's what a guy says to a girl. Don't make like it's just me, man.
Listen to him. He was on heroin. You can hear him. He's so slow. He was on heroin. You can hear it in his voice. He was smoking heroin for probably 5-10 years. You can hear it.
Look, a little fluffy stuff.
Listen how slow he sounds, like compared to when he was young.
Regardless of the intent, 50.
Something has not. It's his shooting injury. It's done physiological damage to his brain. The human body is such an interesting thing. Your brain can actually give you the same exact effects as heroin. It can cause the same problems and the same slowness and the same dopamine and euphoria even. And we don't need heroin, I don't think. We don't need it really. We can just like full-blown tell our brain to give ourselves that dopamine sort of if you have enough control over yourself like that. But it's just interesting how like what a brain injury will do to you. It'll make it so like you're on heroin all the time. And who knows? He's rich. He probably was on heroin all the time. You know?
Was troubled by the way that...
Or maybe he would not like me saying that. I don't know. Maybe... No, I don't know. I doubt he's a junkie. But maybe. I think all these guys were junkies. I think DMX died of junk. I think Nate Dogg died of junk or something. Nate Dogg died of leukemia or something like that, I think. But or cancer, was it? I can't remember. But there's a whole bunch of them that do sort of die of heroin, I think.
Diddy was behaving at the wedding, and from 2003 onward, he would continue making subtle jabs at Diddy and his music, such as the slick line on the November 4th, 2003 G-Unit track Poppin' Them Thangs, where 50 joked about the time Diddy assaulted label executive Steve Stout. Luckily, the charges were dropped, and the two were back friends. They seemingly spent time on good terms, for example being pictured together at showbiz events in 2004. But this would all change in 2006, when 50 Cent was gearing up to release his mixtape, G-Unit Radio 22, Hip Hop is Dead. As before the release of this tape, 50 had been attempting to sign former Bad Boy Records star Mace to his G-Unit collective and label. They became close, with Mace even appearing in the music video to 50's hit song Window Shopper, which dropped in November 2005, perhaps sending a sign to the world that he had been window shopping for a new record deal. Funnily enough, there's a much deeper meaning to this, as it later emerged that 50 was offended and creeped out when Diddy offered to take him shopping, and in the music video, 50 had seemingly done the exact same thing, taking Mace out for a shopping spree. Interestingly, if you look deeply at 50's lyrics in the
song... I see that the last two sessions worth of Cactus Flesh is not selling, so I'm going to take this off the market and just fucking place the buy orders. It's fine. I'm like, why don't I have more income than this? And I'm like, okay, well then, because nothing's sold here, so we'll just take the buy orders. I can't get double the money, and that's fine. Nobody's buying bulk cactus, but they are buying buy order cactus, and they are paying decent, so I will take that money. It's like thousands of gold. I'm definitely going to take it. I want to sort by name because I'm looking for cactus flesh. All the cactus flesh, yeah. Yeah, some of these are sitting here that shouldn't really be here, but it's all right. I mean, some of them might really be a lot of money if they do sell. So whatever. I am gonna do 4,400 cactus flesh though, which is funny. It's a little bit less. No, you can see it. Somebody really doesn't like that 2 gold price. You can see they don't like it. But I mean, I don't care. Frankly, it's fine. I'll just sell it on the fucking buy order because it is like 4,000 gold. Look, it's I'm sorry, it's 2,000 gold, right? Yeah, because it wait, how is that right? This is 4,000. Oh, because yeah, it is. It's 4,000 gold. Like it's just the limit is 2 grand. So here, yeah, look, it is 4,000 gold. That's a lot. That's a lot to me. So here we go. We're gonna buy out this guy. We're gonna do all these cactus flesh buy orders. Cactus flesh, a lot of it. Buy my cactus flesh. Cactus flesh, a lot of it. Sell it. That's a nice 4 gram right there. Not too bad. And so now I'm up. You can see all the work that I've been doing. I'm now at 19K. I'm going to reach my 26 in like 2 or 3 days, which isn't too bad. And that'll be the featherweight unlock, and it'll give me, other stuff to do. We have 7 days until the fresh starts, so that's still quite a bit more time to do other stuff. I have other stuff that I want to sell that I have a large amount of. Like these fucking... Now, why is that not showing? I've got all these purple fish... I've got all this purple fish bait. Why is it not showing? It's weird. Maybe it's because it's on my person. That fish bait, it's like a stack of 1,000 fish bait. I can see that I need to sell it and that it's taking up space, but it's not coming up on the list. It's dumb. Prime scorpion meat. Yeah, see, some of this stuff, it sits there and it doesn't sell, but that's all right. Okay, it is 3:30 in the morning. I believe I'm going to call it here. I'm going to go to bed, wake up, walk for 2 hours, and then come to work. It might be like as late as 4 o'clock or something like that, because I imagine I'll probably wake up around 2 and I go walking, and then I'll be here from 4 until 3 in the morning again, I guess, like 11 hours or something like that. This was a 10-hour and 45-minute session. I think I want to go longer, maybe. I don't know. I am tired, though. I can feel it. Because I haven't been drinking any caffeine for like 3 or 4 days or something like that, and I'm fucking tired. Sorry, without some kind of prop or stem. If I had caffeine in my bloodstream or a Bang energy drink, I would go for a few more hours. But, I mean, I don't know. I'm rather tired, and I believe I've kind of wrapped up here. Well, no, I think I want to finish the video, but it's long. It's like another hour. I'll finish the video because it's fun.
There's clearly numerous jabs at Diddy that wouldn't even make sense until over 20 years later. In the hook,
I don't know if I'll make the whole video, but I'll try to get further.
Open-ended bars at an unnamed hater saying that they're mad at him and he knows why, and claiming that somebody is mad when they see him drive by, calling out an unnamed op for screw-facing him but not having the heart to diss him, seemingly hinting at Diddy potentially failing to re-sign Mace, rapping, "Why you mad at 50 when you effed up your own rear?" and using a double entendre to say something is about to get stolen, a possible reference to Mace being poached by 50 Cent's label. But even deeper, the song has bars which I personally think hint towards some of the sexual depravity Diddy was exposed for 20 years later, such as 50 opening the track saying the top feels so much better than the bottom. And if you think I'm reaching, even Charlemagne in 2018 brought this line up when 50 told him Diddy had offered to take him shopping.
But you've been getting out for over a decade. I remember when you said the top feels so much better than the bottom.
Yeah, I've been saying this.
50 also made reference to freak-offs, which would later be mentioned in a big indictment against Diddy, and a remix of the song featuring Mace would later release as part of 50's mixtape G-Unit Radio Part 16, as well as his Bulletproof video game soundtrack. Cameron would later question Mace on what on earth he was doing out shopping with 50 in the music video in a hilarious 2023 podcast.
In 50 Cent's video, window shopping, what was your role exactly in that?
What was my role?
Took you shopping. They said he scooped you and took you shopping in the video. That's what they told me. I didn't see the video.
See, he's a clown. He's mad because Diddy offered to like fix the beef by like taking him shopping and stuff, which is a nice offer, I suppose. But then he makes a fucking video called Window Shopping where another man takes him shopping, and that's how clown these people are. They're not self-aware at all. They're clowns. They've always been clowns. That's the kind of joke that makes them clowns that they're totally not aware of. Yeah, you can get all mad and call P. Diddy like gay because you're a homophobe or whatever. That's what this was kind of about. I'm fairly sure 50 Cent was going after P. Diddy for being gay. You can be homophobic like that. You can try to hit him for being like, no, I'm not going to let a man buy me something. It's homophobic, right? I'm straight and I wouldn't let a man fucking buy me something unless I was gay either. So, you know, and I get it. But I feel it's this kind of closeted homophobia, though, a little bit. And then you go making a video called Window Shopping where a man takes you shopping. And that's the clown that 50 Cent doesn't really get about himself. The inner clown that's always been there, like talking about Bub in the club or whatever. He's always been a clown.
I don't know. I'm just relaxing.
I'm gonna let you win.
This video caused issue between 50 and Diddy, as Mace was always a bad boy artist.
God damn it! I don't like Mace either. Mace was such a fucking tool.
And was almost seen as Diddy's right-hand man, but ultimately Mace was disgruntled with his deal and had made it public, with one article quoting him as saying even Diddy knew he wanted to leave the label. In fact, this MTV article seemed to portray the signing as a done deal, sporting a headline claiming that even Diddy was in favor of the deal, with quotes from Mace suggesting that he had pretty much decided that joining G-Unit was a done deal. Interestingly, the article suggested that Diddy and Mace had already discussed their contract buyout, and that Diddy had told the news with a grin that he's certain that 50 Cent has the money to buy Mace out of his deal. However, things weren't as sorted as they seemed, with 50 claiming in a 2014 Funk Flex interview on Hot 97 that Diddy did some sucker stuff over this deal.
Nah, ever since Mace, you've always had a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah, he did some sucker.
You always had a bad taste in your mouth.
He was a sucker on the Mace project because he know what he did.
50 would recount a run-in at the Nobu restaurant with Diddy, claiming that Diddy told him it was all good and he was just waiting for 50 to take care of the finances to release Mace from his deal.
But then we was in Nobu, me, him, and Jimmy sitting there, right? He was at the table having dinner with some other people and came over. Yo, Playboy, yo, I thought, you know how we going to Tiffany Co. right now. We pick up something, they ain't going to say nothing. They're going to send us an invoice later. They're going to let us walk out. That's what I thought you was doing with Mace. I thought you was taking him on tour. When you come back, you're going to take care of me. I said, oh, it ain't nothing. So I just
no, it's heroin.
Take care of me.
Interestingly, he also said that Diddy muddied the waters between 50 Cent and Jimmy Iovine, who 50 was in Nobu to have a meeting with about negotiating the deal for G-Unit artist The Game's next album, with Diddy apparently making a too good to be true offer for Mace, saying that he would give him the money to sign him and complete the album, and that 50 and Jimmy could keep the profits once Diddy had recouped from Mace's deal. Not only a too good to be true offer, but it also put 50 in a tough spot with Jimmy, who was there to work out the G-Unit deal on The Game's next album.
When Jimmy gets all antsy, because right now he don't know we having a meeting to talk about him actually going, it's time to sell the Game album again, so he's trying to figure out how to have this conversation with me. I've never heard a person say this to me ever again in my career. He says, okay, look, you guys, make the deal. Like, look, I'll give up my profit.
But you felt good about that.
Yeah, make the project. And after we recoup the money that we spent, take the profits. Man, Mace might not even get a chance to write all of the record. I'm trying to wite the record for him. Super good deal. Never, ever again.
And you kind of feel Diddy made the deal hard.
Yeah, like after he just said something that I'm never going to hear from my career ever again.
In this interview, 50 would then reveal that later, Diddy eventually told him that he was really expecting a whopping $2 million to release Mace from his contract, with 50 famously saying that Mace wasn't worth $2 million with $2 million in his pocket and that he'd have paid $1 million max.
Was there a number talked about?
Yeah, I was like, what you looking for that?
What you want?
He said $2 million. I'm like, Mace ain't worth $2 million with $2 million in his pocket. You crazy? Nope. It was $1 million over what that was supposed to be.
Yep. It's funny because I think he probably had good taste. He's not bad, but I mean, he knows Mace is bad, obviously.
Get me now.
50 even said he felt like Diddy was trying to take advantage of him because he knew he was new to the game and that he had $2 million after the success of Get Rich or Die Trying.
He was trying to do that. You knew, like, let me get that. The $2 million.
You knew and you got it. Give it to me.
Yeah, give it to me. I'm like, man, you gotta be crazy, man.
This $2 million offer was far beyond what Mace was worth and pretty much a go F yourself offer. Diddy was pretending to be serious about letting 50 sign Mace, basically to waste his time and money. As Mace explained later, Diddy essentially blocked the deal from going through.
G-Unit was somewhat a deal that you guys tried to make happen. What went wrong with that deal?
You want the honest answer?
That's
what we're on there for.
Yeah.
You know why it didn't go through. Diddy didn't let it go through. That's the reason it didn't go through. He wanted 50 to give him all of the money he thought I owed him. And I thought he owed me money, so that was always the underlining battle, the invisible battle. So then when I said I wanted to go with G-Unit, he was trying to get all of the money back from 50 Cent. 50 Cent is a street guy. He's not going to pay that, you know? So then you run into issues. So when Puff, he just kept saying he wanted $2 million, then he wanted $3 million, and he was just trying to make it where we wouldn't have a budget if you give him all the money. You know how Puff is. You're going to cut your arm off to get free.
Okay.
So if you get free, you're going to have an invisible leg or something.
This was a furious head-to-head and a deep situation when you think about it. 50 came up as a rapper and reached the top of the game before trying his hand at business and the executive positions. Meanwhile, Diddy had somehow managed to climb the greasy pole as an executive with handy deals made behind the scenes that propelled him to the top of the boardroom as a label executive, with Diddy using his industry clout and the help of actually talented writers like 50 to eventually make himself a famous rapper too. Now 50, a successful artist, was trying to poach one of the most famous artists who had helped Diddy make a name for himself. This would represent a serious challenge for dominance in the backrooms of the rap industry and set the stage for an intense beef that would unfold for years to come. 50 Cent would escalate the beef to new heights when he dropped his P. Diddy diss track, The Bomb, aka Hip Hop, ahead of that mixtape's release. Articles began to circulate at the end of August 2006 saying 50 Cent just dropped the bomb on Diddy. The song itself was a remix of Dead Prez's classic track Hip Hop with one of the most iconic beats in the history of rap. On the track, 50 rapped that Diddy knew who killed Biggie and that he was scared of the boys who did it from the West Side. The song had a boastful hook where he claimed that him and his G-Unit crew run hip-hop in its entirety, not Diddy. 50 would also rant at Diddy on the outro with a long tirade that dissed Diddy into another dimension. He mocked Diddy's party, saying that he won't be getting invited to the white party in the Hamptons after this diss, but 50 doesn't want to come to the white parties anyway, and he doesn't want to hang out with Diddy's punk. He'd then move on to rant about Diddy blocking him signing Mace, saying that he doesn't even want Mace anymore, going on to say that Diddy and Mace wasted his time on purpose and that Diddy should reimburse him $50,000 in travel fees for flying around the world trying to help Mace. He'd even claimed that somebody told him something about Diddy that he could easily expose. Now, this song caused a huge splash when it was released, but funnily enough, in recent months, since the FBI's raids on Diddy's properties, it's actually had a resurgence, with YouTube commenters joking that the feds must have been spinning this song during the raid. It seemed that following this, rather than outright beef, 50 Cent opted to kill his enemies with success, and going into 2007, in August, when the Forbes Hip Hop Cash Kings list was announced, 50 Cent had actually overtaken Diddy, ranking number 2 behind Jay-Z, with Diddy in 3rd place as the top 3 earning rappers. However, it may well have been the case that 50 was actually the number 1 spot secretly, as the deal for Coca-Cola to buy vitamin water, which 50 Cent invested in early, was only announced a little more than a week before this list went public. And since 50 was set to make a rumored 9-figure sum from the deal, he may well have been number 1 by a landslide, but the numbers weren't actually known yet. Now go check my vintage video on that topic if you want to know the whole story. But clearly, there was a lot of competition between the top earners in hip-hop, and interestingly, all of them were New Yorkers. Funnily enough, despite their bitter rivalries, less than a week later, all 3 of these rich rappers would end up having a dramatic run-in with each other. On August 22nd, 2007, T.I. and Ciara's Screamfest tour would go to Madison Square Garden in New York.
This
At
one's
the show,
good.
there would be a surprise performance by T.I., Jay-Z, Kanye West, 50 Cent, and
All
Diddy.
these
This was a wild
tools.
moment and included some strange things, because when
Oh my
Jay-Z
God.
realized 50 Cent had walked onto the stage, it seemed like a frosty introduction, and there was a little tension between them.
We got, hey.
You can get down. You can get down. It's all
This
good.
a
Come
real
on now. You
special
wanna get-
moment, ain't
Come
it?
on, you can get something.
This a real special moment. Uncle Diddy in the house. 50 had to come back out and make my show hot. I so appreciate it. Hey 50, I'm glad you up here because you can share my enthusiasm.
Some have suggested that this was completely unplanned and that 50 Cent actually invaded the stage and strong-armed the others into letting him stay, asserting his dominance as the king of New York rap, with it being suggested that Jay's introduction showed him he was rattled and didn't have a choice but to let 50 stay on the stage.
We got, hey.
You can get down. You can get down. It's all good.
This a
Come
real
on now. You
special
wanna get-
moment, ain't
Come
it?
on, you can get something.
This a real special moment.
During Kanye's performance of Can't Tell Me Nothing, Diddy and 50 would be seen running around the stage separately, and all 5 would stand side by side on the stage in a legendary moment that sent the fans wild. But quite a few weird things played out in the dynamics between these frenemies of rap royalty during this performance. 50 would begin hilariously counting a large wad of money on stage, and 50 and Diddy would then seem to walk towards each other for a moment before the camera cut back to T.I. At one point, Diddy seems to be creeping up behind 50 with 50's head on a swivel and watching out for Diddy approaching him, and perhaps perhaps for good reason, because this is where Diddy famously spanked Jay-Z's bottom in front of the whole crowd in a bizarre play of power. Now, I'll be honest, having watched this closely, it seems that 50 continually keeps his distance from
Wow, he like fucking
Diddy,
like
with Diddy
spanked
seemingly
Diddy.
keeping eyes on 50.
50 spanked Diddy. Oh my god, 50 spanked Diddy. Did you guys know that 50 spanked Diddy? I gotta say it. Oh my god.
And often trying to get closer to him. At one point, 50 is actually distracted by the crowd, and Diddy does a complete 360 turn and keeps eyes on 50's rear. But then, right at the end, Diddy actually runs in with his arm around Ye and throws his arm around 50 Cent, with 50 visibly pulling back from Diddy's embrace and quickly shaking him loose. Right at the end, the two would face off for a tense moment, where to me, 50 looks like he's mean-mugging Diddy slightly. It was an insane moment and wild timing, all happening just a week after all of these artists fought it out to decide who would be the hip-hop's top moneymaker in Forbes magazine. But perhaps this event, or the fact that they were all getting money, brought them together, as not long after that event, the remix to 50 Cent's smash hit I Get Money drops, which is called the Forbes $123 billion remix, featuring both P. Diddy and Jay-Z dropping verses on 50's hit song. Interestingly, at the time, Jay-Z claimed that 50 actually wanted to get him and Diddy on his remix, which showed the world there was no longer hate between them. The remix itself didn't feature any shade by 50 and was mainly just braggadocious bars. However, in Diddy's verse, he dropped many questionable lyrics that today would have anyone giving the side eye. Ironically, he started his verse ending the first three lines with the phrase "Diddy did it," and the fourth by saying his lawyer is so good that
Diddy did it, Diddy did it, Diddy did it. Yeah, Diddy did it, Diddy did it.
Quitted. For now, it seemed that Diddy
Shootouts, coastal beefs, yeah, Diddy did it. Cars, jewelry, and big homes, yeah, Diddy did it. But my lawyer's so good that Diddy got acquitted.
and 50 had actually become friends, or at least neutral for the time being. However, in a 2008 MTV interview backstage, Diddy and 50 had a play fight after 50 crashed a Diddy interview to promote his new reality show.
Broaden everybody's horizons. Yeah, definitely. I was looking for you. I tell you, get your hand out my pocket, man. Get your hand out my pocket. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing on the channel. Get your hand out my pocket, man. Look at me when I'm talking to you. I see, yo. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing, man. I see what you're doing. Nah, look at me, man. I see what you're doing, man. Yeah, you gonna make me. Okay, I'm telling y'all right now. When I want to work for Diddy, I'm gonna physically put my hands on somebody for the ratings because he's not gonna outdo me. I'm gonna physically. I'm gonna go to Central Book. Yeah. I'm used to it. I know what it is. But get your hand out my pocket. Get off my channel, boy. I love this show, though.
You got the brand new show. Have you seen it?
I love this show.
Donald Trump's seen it as well.
Yeah. Donald Trump saying my show is a knockoff of The Apprentice. I said, what's the matter with Donald? I mean, he got a little age on him. You can see
to me, be honest, it felt a little. I want to work for Diddy inspired to me, though.
Yeah, but you know what? This is what I got to do with, right? And these are my friends. But the guys that really don't like me, that's who you need to talk to.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I love this show, though. For real. I think it's important, like, when you see your friend getting into a new era and a new game, it's important if they do the right thing and they do it the right way. My man did his show the right way. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I love this show.
It seemed that while friendly, the two were still on thin ice, and soon the tension would be rising. Diddy and 50 appeared together again when 50 Cent became embroiled in a deep beef with Rick Ross. Now go check my vintage video on that if you don't know the story. But during the beef, 50 made several incredibly disrespectful
fucking beef with Rick Ross
vlogs and videos trolling Rick Ross, including one where he invited Rick Ross's son and his mother to Floyd Mayweather's mansion in Las Vegas, with an arguably uncomfortable looking Diddy appearing in the background for parts of the video. At one point, Diddy and 50 seem to be having a friendly conversation, and they go on to eat candy and chat with Floyd and film director Gary Gray for a while. This was surprising, as it seemed that Rick Ross and Diddy actually had a good relationship, but it's entirely possible that Diddy's presence there was completely unplanned. In fact,
eat candy and rap. Oh my god.
Coming months and years, it would emerge that clearly Diddy was much closer to Rick Ross than 50 Cent on a personal level, as Rick Ross would later appear on the 2010 remix to Diddy's Dirty Money Crew's track Angels. And a few months later, in April 2010, it would be announced that Diddy had become Rick Ross's official manager, with Rick Ross later claiming in an interview that their relationship is much deeper than just rap, and later announcing that they were recording a joint project together under the name Bugatti Boys, and releasing the track Another One. Unfortunately, as Rick Ross's beef with 50 Cent ended up getting extremely raw and personal, personal, no doubt 50 begun seeing Diddy and Ricky in the same batch as certified
Diddy and
ops.
Ricky
But in the years that followed, there was less personal back and forth between Diddy and 50. Perhaps 50 knew how terminal Diddy's decline would eventually be. He seemed to keep a safe distance from hip-hop supervillain, but eventually, just like the situation with Mace, the beef between Diddy and 50 would be reignited once again, with the war playing out this time in the business boardrooms, rather than in disses in songs.
Oh no.
While Diddy made his name in the record business, heading up Bad Boy Records was the booming success of the notorious B.I.G. and after Biggie's untimely and suspect death, eventually making a name for himself as a rapper, but Diddy's career as a moneymaker went far beyond just the rap music industry. He famously founded clothing brand Sean John, which generated hundreds of millions of dollars, and a company that he eventually sold pieces of for top dollar. But Diddy's next famous power play in the business world was becoming the spokesperson for Ciroc, an alcoholic beverage made of grapes, marketed as vodka, but not necessarily actually vodka. Something that Diddy seemed to suggest was an asset rather than a finesse, claiming that only peasants drink actual vodka made from potatoes.
Blue Dot Ciroc. It's made with grapes, not potatoes. It's the smoothest thing out there. It's better than that gray PP. Put that geese down, holy Ciroc boys. Would you rather drink potatoes or grapes? I'm a king. Kings drink grapes. Queens drink grapes. We don't drink potatoes, okay? Peasants drink potatoes, okay?
The grape-derived party drink eventually came in a variety of fruity flavors that matched Diddy's various personalities perfectly.
Yeah, I'm sure, yeah.
Interestingly, the brand was launched back in 2003, and one of the first celebrities used to market the product was NFL player Earl Little. Know very little about him. It doesn't seem like he really got the brand popping. The brand Ciroc would truly catapult itself into the hip-hop world in 2007 when they started working with Jay-Z and eventually Diddy, who began pushing the brand hard after signing an alleged $100 million deal with the brand, announcing the partnership in a glossy press conference where Diddy claimed that this partnership with Ciroc would revolutionize the spirits industry forever.
Ciroc Vodka is entering into a groundbreaking strategic alliance with Sean Combs. Sean Combs and Ciroc Vodka.
This is history because this is not an endorsement deal. This is not a co-branding deal. I'm going to be taking the lead on the marketing, the advertising, the brand building, where it's sold, how it's sold, and I'm very excited about building a luxury brand. My alliance with Diageo is something that will revolutionize the spirits industry forever.
And it certainly revolutionized Diddy's pockets forever, with it emerging that Diddy was in charge of all marketing for the Ciroc brand in a big money deal that would see Diddy sharing 50% of the profits. Over the following 6 years or so, Diddy would shamelessly plug this drink at every opportunity, in glossy TV ads depicting Diddy partying in high class with Ciroc as his drink of choice, to 3-minute commercial movies where Diddy would hold the Ciroc smooth off and refer to himself as Ciroc Obama. He would hold star-studded Ciroc parties attended by the biggest rappers of the era, and he would famously ring in the new year after year with his Ciroc the New Year campaign and yearly parties.
We are here live behind the scenes putting the party together. Y'all have heard about the world famous party. Many have asked, but few are chosen. It is an exclusive event happening at the Combs estate tonight.
And soon, Ciroc would be an inescapable part of every single Diddy party, some of which were inescapable. But at the time, the Ciroc branding's association with the Diddy parties was brilliant. By 2013, Ciroc was making and spending so much money on their ads, they were looking like full-blown Hollywood movies with star-studded casts of A-list actors. This one ad alone included appearances from Matt Goss, Diddy, Frank Vincent, Jesse Williams, Chad Michael Murray, Michael K. Williams, Christopher Jones, and Aaron Paul. And in a 2013 interview, Diddy spoke on his business ambitions in a sit-down which declared his business empire worth a whopping $345 million, with Diddy claiming that he wanted to produce the music you hear, the clothes you wear, the alcohol you drink, with Martin Bashir seemingly spotting Diddy's insane megalomania all the way back then.
His bad boy business empire, with Diddy at the center, is now worth an estimated $345 million. He calls himself the Black James Bond, neither shaken nor stirred, but always selling.
Is there anything you would not promote? How about Diddy dog food?
No, I wouldn't do Diddy dog food. I was going to make the clothes that you would get dressed in, the fragrance you would put on, listen to the music that I produced, to buy the vodka that was in the club.
Some people might think that's a form of megalomania. That you would think that. A form of megalomania.
Oh, it could be.
By 2014, Diddy had truly taken his Ciroc brand to the top of the game. But naturally, if one person is making a bag in business, it doesn't take long for new competitors to try and get into the market. And perhaps unsurprisingly, once again, Diddy's latest corporate op would be none other than 50 Cent himself. Now, in the years following the Rick Ross beef, while Diddy was building the Ciroc brand, the beef between Diddy and 50 got relatively quiet. That's not to say that there weren't the usual characteristics.
This is going on too long, guys. I'm terribly sorry. I'm going to go to bed. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Got some good New World and even some FFXI done. As the server goes down, I'm going to stop. It's 4 in the morning, and I'm going to go to bed and wake up and exercise and then come back and do this again. So I look forward to it. I can't wait. And thank you so much, guys. Looking forward to seeing you again. Thank you for any support or likes or subs or follows that you may have given me today or in the last few days. And if I missed you, I'm terribly sorry. I am skycat.live. I'm a full-time variety gamer all day, every day. Put me on in the background. Click on the cast face to donate. Come to the Twitch or the YouTube. Give me a like, sub, or a follow. And yeah, and that's all I have for you today. Just a reminder, this 11 hour and 10 hour and 51 minute session was recorded, and it will be placed on my YouTube channel where I have thousands of videos. And I mean thousands. And so, you know, come check out anything that I've done. And I'm going to be doing New World for the foreseeable future for a while. But yeah, I'm going to be moving forward there. Tomorrow I will play some Icarus, I believe. Quite a little bit more Icarus and stuff, because I don't have to focus on New World as much until the 15th. And I might kind of play Icarus a bit more. And that's all I have for you today. But yeah, this session will be placed on this YouTube channel right now as we speak. I'm going to close the video here. I love you guys. Thank you so much. And you know, come to Skycat Live. Click on the cast space to donate. It's a PayPal link. Thank you for all your support and all the subs and follows. You know, I pulled in like $25 in the last couple of days, and it's good to see all that support, guys. Thank you so much. You know, thank you. You know, the money, it goes towards my family and helping support me and my family. Thank you so much. The Twitch and the YouTube, thank you so much. And you know, give me a like, sub, or a follow. If there's anything else, no, that's it. So I'm going to stop the video here. The stream won't end right away, but I am going to stop the video and the stream and let it time out. Your stream